You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast with Sinan Schwarting and Kaan Bayazit.
İşaret geldi. Ricardo Quaresma! Ricardo Quaresma! İyi nokta. Gol! Quaresma ortayı yaptı. Sekti. Gol! Gol! Gol! Gol! Gol! Gol! Maç boyunca durdu, şimdi attı. Abu Bakar attı. Abu Bakar.
Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast. An absolute earthquake is going through Beşiktaş right now. In the last 5 games, Beşiktaş have lost 4, only won once against Malmö in the Europa League, and Beşiktaş are coming off of a fresh new defeat, this time at the hands of Maccabi Tel-Aviv in a game behind closed doors in Hungary, a match that was supposed to be a home game, a home field advantage for the Black Eagles. Through political machinations was turned into essentially an away game. But more importantly than this match itself, the Black Eagles have seen their president Hasan Arat resign this morning after initially already having handed over the chairmancy of the football branch of the club to his vice president Yücel. This morning, Arat resigned from all his responsibilities due to in his own words, personal reasons. There's a lot of speculation what those personal reasons may be, and I'm not going to go into it too deep. If he doesn't want to disclose it himself, then I think we shouldn't speculate too much, but it does seem to be health related. No more on that, but we'll talk plenty about the decision to step down itself, how it came about. But before we do that, we do have to spend a little bit of time on this match. I know it's a little bit of an afterthought at this point, but we should at least talk a little bit about it. Anyway, my name, as always, is Kaan Bayazit, and I am joined by my 2 co-hosts from Glasgow, Scotland, Qatar, and from New York City, New York, in the United States of America, is my good friend Sinan Schwarting. Guys, Sinan, first and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to you and your loved ones. And Kartal, happy Friday, bro.
Yo,
It's black.
let me say something first of all.
We got some-
Why would we only... Oh, sorry, Kartal.
Yeah, it's Black Friday, man, so I was able to pick up some discounted Christmas presents for my loved ones.
There you
So
go.
Boys, man.
Kaan, can I say something?
Yeah.
Why would we only spend a little bit of time talking about the match? It was a great match. The Knicks won by 1 point. Last minute, went all the way... Oh, what is... Oh, my bad.
Wrong
sport,
podcast,
once again.
Sinan.
Whoops! I thought we were here to talk about the Knicks. I've done it again. It's alright though. I'm prepared for this. As usual. I've got a contingency plan in place. I'm here to to represent Beşiktaş's basketball team.
Wow, you got that quickly.
You didn't see that coming.
I did not see that one coming. How's the quality on it, man? I really like it.
I like it a lot.
What-
It's nice.
What size did you end up getting?
Large. I got a large. It's not Cartel Uvasa brand, which
No, it's
I
Umbro,
thought
yeah.
was important. It's an Umbro. It's nice, man. It's quite nice. While we're on the topic though of Beşiktaş, I'd like to pour one out for my homies. Hasan Arat, my man. It was nice knowing you. Cartel, do you have? I guess. Oh yeah, you're not drinking these days, are you?
No.
Man, that's a tough time. Tough time to choose sobriety.
Well,
But here we go, fellas. Let's do a cheers
Cheers.
with
Mine is
even a
only,
metaphorical one, Cartel.
Mine,
Well-
mine's non-alcoholic as well, but cheers.
To our listeners out there, if you have a drink, pull up.
Beverage.
We'll give you a moment. Go to your refrigerator. Cheers to you all. This is, I would say, the lowest of low points. The worst case scenario. This is literally where I did not want us to be at exactly this time. Right? It's like the fucking worst case scenario on repeat at this point. We keep flushing the same turds down the same. Right? We keep flushing the same turds down the same faulty pipes. Yeah. Like keeps coming right back up somehow. Yeah. I Cartel, let me hand you the mic, man. What do you have to say?
About the game or everything?
About life these days. I don't know.
Well, tell us about your Black Friday purchases. It's more interesting than at the game.
It's Christmas presents, man, so it's a secret. And just in case anyone's listening.
Okay.
I got myself a couple of discounted sweatshirts, but that's it, just plain stuff. That was it. But no, man, to be honest, I struggled to sleep last night. It was that bad. I couldn't sleep till about 3 o'clock almost. I was thinking about this. I was able to take my mind off it for a wee bit with the Christmas shopping, but that didn't last too long. As soon as the shopping stopped, I went back to thinking about this. I mean, it's just shit, man, like, because we had so much hope at the start of the season, and then for it to turn to this way, we're basically in the same position as last season, if not worse.
I would argue worse because
the board capitulated in less than a year. They get elected on the 3rd of December 2023, and now less than a year later they've completely fallen apart. It was a board that they all vote. Well, we didn't vote personally because we are not Congress members, but we all supported and backed because they gave us great promises. There were some great projects on paper, and really, I mean, Hassan Arat's health issues are one thing, but to be honest, I've had some thoughts for a couple of months that I've not been able to voice in the podcast due to just certain things we were hearing from people we know, but it's really just came to light how bad that actually is in the last kind of few days or so. I mean, even you could argue in the last kind of month or so as well, ever since 2 months it's been almost since that Antep game, like you could see shit being trickled out to the media, and really as times went on it's been more and more obvious. I think I was maybe, I don't want to act like I'm this fucking genius guy, man, but I kind of caught on to what I thought was happening quite quickly, and I still think that's what's happened, to be honest. I think the people inside the board have just had a fucking ego war. Well, what we assume from what we've heard, that our president's been struggling with his health, and it's just caused the club to fucking capitulate, man. And we are where we are today.
But how does that translate so aggressively to the pitch, I wonder? Because I think yesterday was by far, especially like the first half in particular, that's the worst half of football I've seen Beşiktaş play in, I don't know. That was supposed to be a home game, guys, and okay, I realize it wasn't. It was totally not a home game, but everyone in that team knew, Giovanni van Bronckhorst knew how important this match was, not just for the club and for the team given the current situation, but also just in general. Like, the country is the entire country is behind Beşiktaş to win this one, except for the government, of course. And I mean, I don't know. It just felt like that first half was so bad, and you can't help but, I mean, I can't help but blame Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Like, what did he really do? Last 5 matches, we've lost 4 out of our last 5 matches, and other than when there were injuries or a suspension, he sticks with the same 11 players all the time. The only change he made compared to the game on Sunday against Göztepe was putting Ciro on, because Ciro clearly wasn't 100% fit yet to play against Göztepe. So he put Ciro in, and he took Musrati out. We all talked about it last episode, that Musrati didn't have a good game, and he took Musrati out. But other than that, Giovanni van Bronckhorst consistently keeps going back to the same players time after time after time after time. And I realize that he has a thin squad, but he doesn't have a 13-14 man squad. I've said this before already in like last episode or one before that. He uses like 14-15 players, and that's it, guys. Masuaku again yesterday, responsible on the very, big share of the responsibility on the first goal, big share of the responsibility on the second goal, and he plays almost an entire game yet again. And he has been a liability throughout the season. He isn't serious. His defending is lackluster at best. He's not aggressive enough. If you look at a guy like Svensson, for example, like you can tell that he wants to give it 100%. Simi, he goes in 100%. Hell, Paulista, who I think at this point we can all say is a flop simply because of the fact that he's always injured. But injured or not, he doesn't hold back. He goes and he gives 100%. Jetson, I think Jetson yesterday, one of the very few players that was good. Or maybe not good, but who gave everything, left it all out on the pitch once again. And Masuaku, I don't know how he keeps getting away with it. And I know I keep going back to Masuaku, and he's not the only one, but he is definitely the poster boy of this implosion, in my feeling, because I think he was bad already when the team was good. Because against Lugano and so on, he was one of the bad players. He had a lion's share in the responsibility for the 3-3 in Lugano, or in Switzerland, I should say. It wasn't played in Lugano. And somehow Giovanni van Bronckhorst has not yet had the idea to bench him once.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with that. That's poor, but do you not think with all this chaos going on in the background that's clearly kind of affected the coaching staff and the players? It must do, man. Like
it definitely can have a Kartal, but if you look at compare the first half to the second half. The second half, that's the first time this season that he actually made some drastic changes. Yeah, he put Sali on. He put Tayyip Talha,
which was
Tayyip
wild.
Talha on. Who else did he put on? Rather quickly.
Cher.
Cher and Do. So
Cher, yeah.
it wasn't radical by any means. But I think I think him putting Sali on at halftime is a radical move for Gio.
Yeah.
And we were significantly better in the second half.
We were.
Up until the moment that we missed the penalty. I think if Gio scores the penalty, we win that game.
Probably.
And we were
kind of tired, man. Like we were.
Yeah, they had, and we were better than them, and we were creating chances. The goal was coming. You could see it. It really was. And if Ciro puts that home, I think we win that game. Because then they'd be on the ropes.
I think Ciro was dog shit to be yesterday. He was too passive. I just felt like he was like too relaxed. He's like that. Like so many.
No, he wasn't too relaxed, because I remember a very distinct moment where he goes for a throw in and he was like very. I don't think that's fair that he was too relaxed. I just think that he probably wasn't 100% fit.
There's moments I saw about 3 moments where if he is like sharp and he hits that ball shoot straight away, it's a good shot. Obviously,
but there's a difference between being sharp and between being passive. Being passive implies that you don't give a shit. Being sharp is just not fit. And I think given the.
You think he was bad yesterday, man?
Yeah, of course he was bad, but that doesn't mean he was uninterested or didn't give a shit. You know.
Who do you think was good yesterday, guys? Maybe that's how we talk about the game. Who was
Simi,
good?
Rafa, Jason, maybe. For the
Was Simi good? Was Simi good?
I think he tried things at least.
Yeah. Of course he tried, but
He earned us the pen.
yeah, but
All right, so you
was he
said
good?
Semi,
Sure,
Rafa.
But
No, I mean he was passable.
Pretty
He
sure
wasn't
Semi-
bad, is what we could say. Whereas I think most of the rest of the team was pretty bad. But you said Semi, Rafa, and Jedson. You said.
yeah, I think that's
And I think Sally and
was
Cher
good
both
when
came
he
on and made a pretty
came on.
positive
Cher was
contribution.
decent. Rasicka
Nobody was good
terrible.
defensively.
Like you're talking about
Rashica
Chiro,
was, oh
but
man, Rashica was terrible.
Was much
Rashica
worse.
was terrible. Svensson had a pretty bad
Also,
game
yeah,
too.
I mean, I didn't think he didn't.
They were
really-
attacking in that first half. They were just killing us down that left side. I mean, it was just bad. Like
Mert.
yeah,
Oh
Merritt was terrible
there's
again.
balls he should be catching, not bouncing off him and stuff like that.
man,
You know what I realized yesterday? We're terrible on set pieces in large part because he does not command that box. And that's one thing about Arston, for all of his flaws. You know damn well if there's a ball coming up high, he's going to get up there and grab it. Merritt is just kind of stuck on his line.
he's way too hesitant, and when he comes, most of the time he punches it, and it's like a little chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ersin's very good at that. Ersin, I think.
I mean, at least good, better at least. I mean.
I think Ersin's actually very, very good at kind of catching crosses and stuff like that. I think he's very.
Yeah, for Turkish goalkeeper standards, he is definitely very good. But I think in the on the world stage, I think he's passable.
And I
Turkish goalkeepers are notoriously bad on high balls, and that's not one of Ersin's flaws.
I agree with his.
No,
I agree with his card as well in the comments that João Mario was shite. He done nothing.
Oh my God, was he even?
Yeah.
Was he even
Oh
on the
my
pitch?
God.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean about Gio. Like he instead of so he pulls Musrati out of the lineup. Let's look at that lineup. If you want to see the line,
You want me to do it?
Don't
That's
bother.
not even
If you
do
want
it,
to see
yeah,
the lineup,
yeah.
guys, you have to watch the YouTube show, the YouTube. But
Yeah,
you have to watch the YouTubes. So his big radical change in the lineup after a horrible game against Göztepe is the no-brainer to put Chiro in.
And remember, Masuaku was off the left wing because Semi's back there.
And then he
so there was
he
some.
takes Musrati out, and you know, okay, he's gonna make like a big just change, like he's gonna shake things up. What does he do? Put João Mario in. So like either João Mario or Cher, one of the two. That's the choices he has in his head. Like he has no other choice. Why doesn't he put... I genuinely think if he starts with the lineup that we played in the second half, I think we win this game with relative ease.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
And
Why did Udokai
he
come
had
out,
an
by the
injury,
way?
Uh,
I don't know.
Well, maybe he just didn't want to left-footed centre backs. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably because he didn't want to take out Masuaku.
Oh man, it's just.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the statistics.
I think.
Because
I think we'll let it, man.
I mean, on paper, these statistics they don't even look that bad. I think.
The second half was we salvaged
the-
like decent.
The fact that we missed a penalty, that's 0.75 xg. Really, without that penalty, it's well, like 1.0.
That's very true. It's very true. Yeah.
But that Rafa goal, man, that goal that Rafa scored, like I thought we were back. I was like, okay, we're back. We've figured this out. Like we've kind of gotten over ourselves.
Like that wasn't like.
Yeah.
There was any.
It was literally our very first danger in the first half. It came in like minute 40 or what? 36, 37, something like that. And
No, but still, like you said, from then until we missed that penalty, basically, we looked like we might even be a passable professional team.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't remember exactly. I remember the first 35 minutes were absolutely horrendous. It's like we were playing an away game, it was like we were playing Lyon away, and we were just sitting back trying to counter, and then maybe after 35 minutes they tired out a little bit, we scored, but it's not like we were good then, I think. And then the second half with the changes, then we started coming into the game more and more, but...
Well, remember, we scored just before the half, and that's basically what I'm saying.
But then they scored. Then they
from
scored
then
back,
on,
right? And I think that one was.
Yeah, but their second was slightly against the run of play. But so then we were like, oh, we're gonna get back into it. And like you said, we were kind of knocking. It felt like we were definitely gonna score.
Stupid goal, which was in like the third minute of added time. If you don't concede that, I think you and you make those changes at halftime, but now you're chasing the game the entire second half. You get the penalty, Chiro misses it, and once again,
with all the pressure of like, if you think about, it's crazy. Like, so I had two outbursts that like freaked out my daughter during the game. The first one was at João Mario, where I was like, I don't think this fucking guy has had a single successful pass since he got here. Like, what is he doing? And I like screamed that. And then the second one was. Yeah, what were we just talking about?
Your two outbursts.
But no, what was the instant we were just talking about before I started that? The second outburst was the penalty. And I like stood up and I was like praying to this guy and I was like, Cheeto, do this for the kids in Gaza. And then he fucking missed. And it was like my heart literally broke. I was like, okay, I sat down and I was just silent for the rest of the day, basically. My Thanksgiving was ruined.
You also kind of just feel like when we missed that, like the wind just completely went out of the team. Like all the momentum we had built up until that single point. And I think that also to an extent that really speaks to the mental proneness that this team has right now. Like it was just too much. It's like they can't get over something like that. That was like the 72nd minute. They still had 20 minutes, and it was like they just threw in the towel at that point. It was over.
My nephew was like, "Don't worry, they still have 20 minutes. They've looked like a better team like recently." And I was like, "You don't get it, man. Like that penalty, you could see immediately. We started sitting back. Like, I mean, the way it affected me on a psych. Sorry."
In fact, I'll just go then. Sorry, man. But see, when Chiro was going to take that penalty, I knew he was going to miss it because he was breathing out his arse, man. Like, you could tell the guy was really tired.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. If he picks the other corner, it's a goal. It's just the goalkeeper picked the right side. Yeah. Because sorry?
He scores regardless. It's not well hit, man. It's not right in the corner. That's the problem. Not hit right in the corner, and it's fairly soft.
Yeah, but...
That's why the keeper saves it.
It wasn't a terrible penalty though.
It wasn't wasn't good.
It was relatively. It is actually very similar to the one against Frankfurt. It was tucked to the left lower side, not next to the post. But the problem if you want to do that, you want to like hit it right next to the post. If you overhit it slightly, you miss. So that's very risky. Like, I mean, this was really just the goalkeeper picked the right side. It wasn't as good as the one against Frankfurt, I thought, because I think that was a really brilliant fucking save. This one was definitely not that. This was just the goalkeeper picking the right side and getting lucky. I don't really understand. Like, I feel like in an important moment, if I put myself in that position, I don't get why players don't shoot through the middle more. Goalkeepers almost always pick a corner. If you shoot through the middle, it's almost always a goal. I mean, obviously, if you do that all the time, then they'll know. But like in a moment like this, where you know it's really important for the momentum of the game, I think you blast it through the middle. That's what I would do. I don't get why players don't do that more often. But I mean, I feel like yesterday as well in the group and all, I really feel like people are really angry at him for missing a penalty, and sorry guys, you miss a penalty once in a while. It happens. It's shit. It's fucking shit, but it happens. It happens.
But that's
Ronaldo misses penalties too in important moments, you know.
Hey guys, let me do these stats.
Let's do the
so we can
stats,
go
and
back
then,
to our beautiful
Katla
faces.
can have to say about the penalty.
Yeah, final word on Cheeto. All right, so Beşiktaş had 58% of the ball, which is wild because until we scored that goal, we had like 41% of the ball. Even like what we typically do, we weren't doing. They had 2.59 xG to our 1.82. They had 18 shots to our 11, 10 on target, which is fucking crazy, to our 3. 2 big chances each, despite all that. And we are the only one who missed one of them. To echo what you were saying, Khan, by the way, about that penalty, if you put a little too much on it, right? Mo Salah did that against Real Madrid just the other day. So there's some proof in the pudding and what have you. We completed
sorry to interrupt you,
448
but
passes.
especially if it's like a little rainy or something. And I think it was. I don't know if it was raining, but it was misty as fuck. So I assume it was like wet and stuff.
Yeah.
And if it's
I think
wet,
it was
you
raining,
really don't
yeah.
want to try and hit it too hard because then like it's so easy to overshoot or slip or whatever. You just want to pick a corner or through the middle, like I said. But I feel like people are being a little harsh there and just taking out their frustrations on Chiro.
Yeah, and there's another aspect of this, which is that the Israelis were clearly quite up for this. So for them, this meant,
Yeah, I mean,
it
look,
seems like it meant more. It meant more for them than it did for our guys somehow. But anyway, let me just finish these stats up. We completed 448 passes, which is almost where we want to be, and at an 84% clip, which is where we typically want to be. They only completed 287 at a 77% rate of success, but somehow
they took a lot more risks in the first half. We were just passing the ball around our back.
Side into the back. You can have 1,000 passes. It doesn't make a difference. Man. You need.
Yeah, first half was just us passing the ball around at the back and trying a stupid.
And they were just so decisive on the counter, man.
I don't think
what.
so, Sinan. I thought they were pretty rubbish, to be quite honest to you. Like, I didn't think that was a good team.
Well, when I say decisive, I mean it was so clearly their plan, right? They knew exactly what they needed to do, and they didn't do it especially well, but they did it enough. They had the volume. It's like in the NBA, you have a volume shooter, right? He's not necessarily a great player, but he's gonna take a ton of shots and he'll get enough that he'll put up 25 points. That's kind of what was
their ascent to quality wasn't like anything special, because I think if they were if they were a little bit more talented, they would have completely slaughtered us. And the thing is, they weren't really that eccentrically good, but the problem was they were just, for us then, they were just super gutsy, and they were up for it, and every time they just looked for the one-on-ones constantly. And it's honestly it's what every team's been doing against us in the last couple of months, in the last couple of weeks. How detrimental is that to say that teams are looking for the one-on-ones against you? That just means that they believe that one-on-one they're stronger than you are. That says enough.
No, and I just don't. The reason I mentioned how decisive they were is they knew to counterattack, and they knew the sort of pace they needed to sort of get through our midfield fairly quickly. I don't know why we can't ever come up with a counter to that, and clearly that's on Gio to some extent, but But on the other hand, we've been remember when Shinji Kagawa had that one bad pass that led, right? I feel like it's been years of just not knowing how to defend the counter, and I don't know why it's like smashing your head against the wall, and it just keeps happening over and over. Anyway, we committed 12 fouls to their 10, 1 offsides to their 2. They had 7 corners to our 2, so clearly they were more, they were looking for things on our side of the pitch a little more than we were theirs. Cartel, let's hear those duels, man.
So we won 56 of them to their 50, which was 53% in our favour. Ground duels, we won 45, they won 34, 57% in our favour. Aerial duels, 11 to 16, only 41% were in our favour. Successful dribbles, so we completed 15 successful dribbles, which is actually good. That's 63% clip. So that means we probably had like 25 attempted, completed 15. Pretty good, man, if you ask me.
Yeah.
They had 7 successful dribbles, which was at a clip at 47%. So that makes you think that they had 15 attempted. Yellow cards, we had 3, they had 2, and that was it.
That was, I mean, I think that dribbles, that's definitely something that went up in the second half, because there were multiple moments where both Cher and mainly Sali, but Cher as well, were like dribbling their opponent to try and launch an attack, and I feel like you didn't see any of that in the first half. Like,
well, and nonetheless, like the problem is, despite the successful dribbles, we still only had 3 shots on target. Like,
I mean, yeah, no, like those
what the hell
dribbles,
is wrong with
like,
us, man?
Those
And
dribbles don't happen in
so
the right areas, and I don't know if you guys noticed this lately as well. Like, our defensive line is really, really deep, and like in the beginning of the season, our defensive line was super high. So it's
What happened there?
What happened to?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, that's what I'm asking. Like,
Exactly. Like we were playing with a very high defensive line early in the season, and yeah, we conceded a couple of goals, like against Lugano. But the upside of that is that you are much quicker to get into the opposition's penalty area. And when you're playing with a deep defensive line like this and passing the ball around the back, we can't get out from under the pressure. Like, the only thing that
I think that's exactly what it is, Con. Now that you said that, because like, even sure, you're gonna let the occasional counter get past you if you push up that back line, but you're also gonna be there to cut out like the majority of those counters, and not like, you look at the way that these teams just slice right through our midfield on the counter, and that's because there's just no one there essentially to stop them. And like, you're exactly right. I don't know why he pushed the line back like that. But that's clearly been detrimental.
He had the balls at the start.
He did, so and he lost them straight away.
Why did they lose those balls, though?
I don't know.
Everyone was, the fans were chanting his name at the basketball games, at every football game. Well, we had some really good performances at the start of the season. You win 5 out of your first 6 league games. Everything was going great, and then suddenly it just changes, man. A team that at the start of the season we were saying one of our biggest strong suits was that we create a lot of good chances, man.
Yeah.
But then that completely kind of disappeared through September, but we're still winning games in September. And then since the month of October hit, we've been completely shit. Only won 2 games in the last 2 months.
I don't know. I would love for Gio to just explain it, to try and explain it. I think the problem is that he doesn't know either.
I don't know.
Either he doesn't know, but I think if he knows, he needs to, like, I mean, clearly, and that was so apparent yesterday. There's a very serious confidence issue in this squad, because even against Antep when we were bad, I think we're still moments, especially first half. But like yesterday, I felt like we were watching a complete and utter shell of a team. Like,
yeah, funny, that's exactly what I said. I said there's like a shell of 11 players out there. Dude, did you guys see at halftime, I think it was Jedson who was trying to like get the team together and give them a little speech, and maybe it was just Paramount Plus that gave us a view of it. Saw that. But I could swear the way he was talking, he was like, yo, like, we're playing for our coach's career for the second half. You know, like, he had the way he was like kind of trying to like get people to lock in. And I feel bad for a guy like Jedson, because he's found probably the best form of his career in these last few months, right? So for him, that's probably a huge loss, right? Like, whatever.
I feel sorry for, man. Like, I feel sorry for Rafa having to spend like some of the final really nice years of his career. Like, he's already had, like, you know, last season at Benfica was a kind of a letdown, and now he's having this ridiculous third fest of the season. Like, I feel sorry for Rafa. I feel sorry for a lot of players, man. I also like feel very rancunious against other players that are the reason for it, I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Even Jed's, his performances recently haven't been quite the same, have they? He's not been able to get forward as much.
No, but that's also because, like I said, we're playing too far from the opposition's penalty area.
Exactly. And in his defense, right, he's a guy who works very well off of other guys making runs, and like, I mean, we seem stagnant offensively, in creation. Like even when we're trying to counter, there's so little fluidity. Every third pass is off, and like it's hard to do. It honestly, like it's
in the first.
As much as obviously Gio is to blame for like us not being able to defend well on the counter or whatever it might be. I mean, there is something fairly mysterious at work here, right? Like,
maybe
we can't get a game without like 4 players putting up a stinker. And like we said in the last match, like I don't think we're a team that can afford for more than 2 to put up less than a mediocre game.
I mean,
or
when you play a good
screwed,
game, rarely can you say, "Oh, this guy and this guy were shit." Like if you played a good game, like most of the time everyone's passable, and we just have people putting in absolute shit fest all the time. And I think this game was actually quite good to illustrate what you were saying, Kartal. What Jetson's recent form, whatever. I think the first half illustrates perfectly the problem when we are bad and running after the facts and running after the game. Jetson's sole job is chasing down players trying to win the ball. In the second half, when we were a bit better for like 25 minutes, he was very involved in a lot of our attacks. Because when we're better, when more players are winning duels, we're winning more balls, we're creating counter-attacking or attacking opportunities, he is able to do other things. But when we're on the back foot, he has to just run around like a crazy dog trying to win the ball back, and there's nothing else there. And I think Jetson is a victim of how bad the team is in that sense. But I have to say, even if the team was bad like we were yesterday, I think Jetson still stands out in a positive way just because he never gives up and keeps going. But yeah, it's hard for him to score goals and get assists when the team is this bad. I mean, look at Rafa. I mean, okay, I know Rafa scored yesterday, but like he's been dry for a while. Like it doesn't matter how good you are if your team is this fucking shit. It's really difficult to perform and stand out. And I think Rafa, I mean statistically, Rafa, I don't know if you guys saw this, according to Who Scored, I believe, Rafa was in the team of the week in the Europa League. Can you imagine in this team yesterday that he makes it? Okay, I know that's
when his goal was beautiful.
Yeah,
honestly,
it was fantastic, but that's a typical Rafa goal. He scored many like that for Benfica, like running half the pitch on a counter. And
Really?
Sorry?
You scored a good few like that already for us in just a few months.
Yeah. I mean, against Samsun, he scored a run from deep like that. Against Lugano, I think. It's a shame. I think you can see. I think we were saying earlier that this might even be worse than last season, and I agree with you. I think right now it is worse because I've been a Beşiktaş fan for a very long time, 25 plus years, I think. And this is, I want to say, the worst week in my Beşiktaş fandom. And of course, it's not just the Göztepe game and this Maccabi game. That shit happens. We had Lugano last season. We had other losses. I mean, it's not the games necessarily. I think it's the total and utter implosion of the board and everything going on around the club right now. I can't remember ever the club being in such a tumultuous situation in my life. Of course,
Let me say a word on that, Khan. Let me add to that. I first of all, wholeheartedly agree, and I think it's safe to say that this is significantly worse than where we were at this point last year. And the reason is that if we were simply going from bad to worse, fair enough, right? Like you kind of see the trend, you expect it perhaps. But let's be serious. Like we went from bad to a pretty good, right? Like we were happy for
we won the cup, and then we
had
really
hope.
Happy. I mean, we
had hope. We were seeing like something playing out that looked really positive. We saw sort of organization in the back room on a professional level. We were bringing kind of outsiders who we knew could bring some modicum of objectivity. The vibes were fairly immaculate for like a little bit. It's that's the problem. You go from bad to like good / hopeful to like right back where we were at this time last year, and I think that's the hard thing for us all to fathom.
I wouldn't even say
right?
hopeful, man. Like, we were very, very excited, and not just hopeful, but very hopeful. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was the start of the season, man. I was like that, like Cans literally went from saying that from the start of the season saying that this is the best Beşiktash has seen to this is the worst ever. Like that downfall in such a short space
It's
of time.
ridiculous, yeah. The contrast is couldn't be bigger.
It's like black and white, man. It is
so black and white.
I mean, that's ironic that it happens with Beşiktaş, you know, with our colours black and white. Yeah.
Then could you toggle your camera on and off maybe? Because it's like...
It keeps doing that, yeah.
Yeah,
I've noticed that. It did it to Cartel for a minute.
On and off, and if it doesn't fix it, then just ignore it.
It's the hope that kills you, man. And
that's
this season, like, because...
But you know what, Catal? It's one thing if it was just a sportive things going wrong.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening off the field is what makes this so bad. Yeah. And I think we can put a bow around this now, this match. Look, I mean, it was a very important game for us for our European aspirations this season. It really, really sucks, but I think we got bigger fish to fry at the moment. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. President Hassan Arat, I already led the episode. I started off the episode with it, but Hassan Arat had initially resigned his position as chairman of the football branch yesterday. Or was it the day before already? Yeah, it was. No, I think it was officially yesterday, right? 2 days ago?
Yeah.
2 days ago. Okay, so he resigned his position as the chairman of the football branch, and at the time, everyone was wondering, did he resign as president or as chairman? And then it turned out it was just the chairman of the football branch, and he was still remaining the president of the club as a whole. He was just handing over the keys of the castle, so to speak, to his vice president Hussein Yücel for the football branch. And he was going to, I mean, I guess everyone thought that he was just going to continue his role as president while he focused on his personal issues and tried to get better. And then, you know, kind of almost as like, a temporary thing, perhaps even. Maybe some people saw it like that. I don't think anyone really did, but perhaps. But then today, he officially announced his resignation as president of the club, making Hussein Yücel now the vice president, making him the president now. There's a lot of rumor and innuendo going on online about this. People are calling it coup d'etat and stuff like that. However, very important detail that those people are missing and seemingly are unaware of, and honestly I was unaware of it too until somebody pointed it out to me, or our dear friend Dutch Eagle aka Carlito dove into the Beşiktaş bylaws and found out something very interesting, guys. I'm going to open up my phone and see exactly, because he cited a particular article in the bylaws of Beşiktaş. Let me see which article it was. And you can find these bylaws on the website of Beşiktaş, by the way, on the bgk.com.tr website. Let me see. Which law was it? Anyway, what it boils down to is this was a very deliberate decision, a very conscientious decision by Hassan Arat. It's not that he just resigned as chairman and then like a day later went, fuck it, I'll just resign everything. No, it was a very deliberate decision because of the timing. Had he resigned as president 2 days ago, we would have gone to an extraordinary election. And because he waited 2 days, he has now assured, as long as the board stays together, that Hussein Yücel will be able to see out the term until May. So had he resigned 2 days ago as president, then we would be going to extraordinary elections right now, because he did not this allows Hussein Yücel now to take over without having to go to elections. So I think that kind of kills the whole theory that Yücel planned a coup on Hasan Arat, because why on earth would you help your the person who supposedly stabbed you in the back to get on the throne? Why, you know? I don't think in the history of mankind, I don't think anyone who has ever been usurped has helped their usurper to sit on that throne. So I think that kind of kills that theory.
I mean, you can't.
My screen is still messed up, by the way, Con. I don't know what.
Doesn't matter.
You can't say for sure. I mean, a possible reason for that is maybe Hasan Arat thought like 2 elections would maybe cause the club more harm. And he maybe thinks it'd be better for the club if they just carried on till May and then had the one election in May.
If somebody just stabbed you in the back, I don't think you're gonna do that for the person.
But here's another aspect too. I mean, aren't we still fairly reliant on Hussein Yücel's money?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Like, can we really afford? Like, if somebody else were to be like, no, I think I should, and then he came, like, wouldn't we be in a lot of financial peril as a product? First of all, let me just say, this portion of the podcast was unofficially sponsored by Kona Big Wave, and now we're going to go on to Tsingtao. So for anyone who wants to know what's happening.
You guys seem to have the impression that Yücel is paying like everything. Like,
no, that's been reported by Furat Günayar that Yücel's been paying everything.
Yeah,
there were a number of reports
that he paid the wages this or last month because they were late. He didn't. Did he say he's been paying everything the entire time?
He said he's been paying everything.
But did he say he's been paying everything the entire time?
No, he didn't say that, but he said he's paying everything.
Yeah, he paid the wages last month. That's what they were saying, right?
But the last 25 days, apparently, the payments are late 25 days.
Yeah. And he paid that.
As far as I'm aware, that's not been paid yet. So he withheld the payments for a month as well.
But the club,
guys,
yeah.
Let me just advise us all. Let's not fight about speculation, because at the end of the day, you know, we can't really corroborate too much. There's so much going on in the background. It's probably not worth like a civil war on that end. All I will say is that, does it fucking like? Look, I think it's safe to say that these next 6 months are going to be like a lame duck session for anyone, whether it's Hussein Yücel, Giovanni van Bronckhorst, Sergen Yalchin. Doesn't matter who's doing what. I think these next 6 months are going to be sort of riding out the storm, which is a freaking shame. I think Hussein Yücel might have sort of delusions of grandeur, you know, ambitions beyond what is possible. But maybe that's okay for these next 6 months. You know, we're really because look. At the end of the day, all of the candidates are either like populists in the Hussein Yücel mold, or scumbags from previous administrations that like we want nothing to do with the club. So we're not only in between a rock and a hard place, but what had us feeling so positive about everything that was being built was the notion that we were finally turning the corner in terms of professionalism, in terms of bringing in kind of outsiders who can see things objectively, a modern professional approach to the back room. We had all of these ideas that I think we were all pretty excited about. We finally were building out the training staff for a coach. We had, you know, certain experts and specialists. Like, I think we all felt like the vibes were good because they were making the type of progress that we felt like we never see in Turkey because of all the sort of mafioso types that typically control the situation, and the sort of giant egos and the, you know,
if you ask me,
I don't have to, we all know.
Unfortunately, Sinan, Galatasaray and Fenerbahce are a lot better at making sportive decisions than we are. Especially Fener.
And I mean, to be fair, Ali Koç, for example, right, with Fener, he's a professional. He has a lot of success in the professional world.
Well, he's got he's got a proper sporting director, Mario Branco, who is very successful.
Well, and that's why, right? Like, if you understand the way an organization needs to function, you've got to be able to do stuff like that. And again, but like that's where we were finally feeling like maybe we were going in that direction. And I think that's why this all hurts a little bit extra, right? Like, can we all agree? Like, there's no kind of ideal that's going to come out of this for at least.
But Kartal, do you really think that Mario Branco makes all the decisions there?
Not all of them, but I think he's got a big enough say to the fact that they've had a cohesive, balanced team for a couple of years now since he's been there. I mean, there's one thing we can say about Fenerbahce is they've got a very good balanced squad.
Yeah, but they spent a lot of money.
Yeah, but you can make a good balanced squad with a smaller budget as well. You don't need to spend a lot of money.
You say they have a balanced squad. They have a pretty old squad, man. Like,
yeah, balanced in terms of like it's a team that's well built in the terms of.
Yeah, but it's been built over years, not over, you know. Like, I mean, you can't expect. Like, I mean, we've said that so many times. You can't expect to build a well-balanced squad in 1 or 2 transfer windows.
Why?
Unless you have a ridiculous amount of money.
Why was Ismail Kartal able to get such a good tune out of that team last year, despite not being a very good coach? Because it's a well put together team.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that, but
And that's what we've.
I think Carter. I think he's just saying it's not more than it being a well put together team. It's a relatively well put together team, right? And that's in relation to the rest of our league.
It is put together over.
I'm not saying that it's fucking that's the gold standard.
Yeah.
You should be
I'm only clarifying because I don't think you guys are actually disagreeing very much. It's sort of semantic.
Like relative to us, it's better. Like, I'm not saying that it's some fucking gold standard.
Yeah, of course, but relative to us, I mean, that's like this board have had one summer transfer window. Like,
they didn't have enough time.
I don't know what people are really expecting, and also you have to see, you know, every year you inherit last season's squad essentially, and what did we inherit from last season? Absolute utter trash. Fenerbahce are coming off of a 99-point season, you know, and the season before that. Where did they finish the season before that? I know they had like one really bad season a few years ago. Like, other than that, they've been building this. They've been laying the foundations for this for a while, and they have been laying these foundations in a different way than we did in 2012, where we, I think, invested a lot in young, talented Turks.
We literally went to bare bones and built it up like that. We went to bare bones. We went through a very cheap team and progressively, slowly built it up into an expensive team, and we went too far in the end. And also the personnel wasn't right either. They didn't pick the right players eventually.
Yeah, they started putting in squares and round pegs and shit like that.
I think instead of if you didn't have Hussein Yücel going and making these transfers, see if we had a proper sporting director.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. If
you gave him the money we spent, and you say, go and build a team with this money, right?
I think what Fener does is they have a sporting director that works with Ali Koç and Acun and whatever, and still allows those guys to puff out their chest and do the big man thing that Hussein Yücel clearly wants. But they listen to advice from a professional, and I think what Hussein Yücel is in danger of doing is just kind of doing his own thing, and that has been proven in the past in Turkish football that doesn't go well most of the time, because you tend to end up signing over the hill players, too old players, players with injury issues, whatever. You're essentially, when I was a kid, I started playing a game called UEFA Manager 2000. Was like a football manager game, and players had like ratings and stuff. But I didn't even look at the ratings. I just bought players based on their name because that guy's good. I know that guy. I know, he plays for AC Milan, he's a good guy. And I bought him, and he was like 56 rated or something. You know? Stupid stuff like that. Like, essentially, I think that's what in Turkey they tend to do. They just buy players based on their name value, not on their actual value on the pitch. And that's the danger we're heading in January now, is that possibly Hussein Yücel is going to buy big names, but, you know, they won't work out. The flip side of that is if we are going to head to an extraordinary, like if more board members right now would resign, and we still head to an election, an early election, that election would have to be at a minimum in 30 minimum 30 days. So that's essentially the beginning of the transfer window. I think if we're gonna go with a new board right now, I think you can forget about January completely.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen though.
No, it's not gonna happen. But
No, someone's gonna come in and try to make splashes and like, look what I can do. But like, yeah, I think I agree with Con insofar as it's not gonna result in anything, right?
No,
like,
that's
when you look at the whole squad and the team and where we are and what we need to do, right? Like, it's not gonna. I don't think 2 transfers or 3 or
it's
like,
a poisoned gift. I think if any board would start now, I think that would be horrible. Like this.
It'd be better than it.
Huh?
Yeah.
I think this is the best case scenario that Yücel just takes over until May, and hopefully he doesn't do any long-term damage to the finance of the club, whatever. If he's gonna make what we have to hope for is that he's gonna try and win over the fans and make good signings and pay for it largely himself. Without the club having to pay him back at a later date. That is what we have to hope for. The likelihood of that, I think, is small, but I think that's the hope that kills you, maybe. But
the point I was making earlier was, say, because it's now been reported that Devin Uzek was ready to come. Like Haber Kartal is owner and founder, who in the last kind of a year and a half or so actually has got some good scoops. Said that he was 100% ready to come.
Mm-hmm.
There's other reports saying that it was blocked by certain board members. See if you give that guy like that.
Katal, sorry but why is it always certain board members? Just fucking say who it was, man.
Of course. No, I agree, but it's not me.
But that's where we are too, with this fucking infighting. Like, it's so deleterious, man. We've just fucking lost like 4 years to these assholes with their little dick measuring contest, doing this fucking bullshit. And this, like, they need to just like, I want to purge. I feel like the Congress, fucking extraordinary Congress. You know what would be fucking extraordinary? Get rid of all of these fucking corrupt assholes. Like, bring in some fucking professional people. What are we doing? It's 2024, and we're still operating like we were 15 years ago under Yildiz and Demirodin. Like, we just keep stacking on debt because these people with these short-term projects, A, they never get to see anything through, or B, they get the chance, like Fikret Orman, where all this great stuff, we're making business in Japan and freaking animes and Toyota and then he forgets what he's doing because he gets a little success and he starts just spending all of his money on idiotic transfers.
In an ideal world,
what are we doing? It's this rinse, repeat, recycle shit.
In an ideal world,
so frustrating.
You have someone buy the club outright, so there is no ambiguity at all. And there's no political bullshit behind the scenes, because right now what you have, in our opinion, in our view, a good man with a good vision like Hassan Arat running for the presidency, and he has to take on scumbags in his board because otherwise he doesn't get the votes he needs to get elected. That is
it's a broken system.
That's the cancer of this system. It's like the U.S. politics. It's like U.S.
It's right now. It's exactly.
It's like U.S. politics. Like you can't become president of the United States without selling your soul to the corporations. And it's the exact same thing in this and the Beşiktaş. And Galatasaray have a huge mess in their political spectrum as well. I feel like Fenerbahçe are they have it sorted out more than anyone, because I think they have a very clear de facto honcho, Ali Koç. He doesn't answer to anyone. He hasn't had any success sportively, but I don't think there's any question in that community who is the boss. And the thing with in Beşiktaş is just, it feels like there's always these vampire leeches that are trying to suck the blood out of the club, and every single board over the last 2 decades have had people in it like that. It was the president between 2004 and 2012. Orman brought in a bunch of leeches, unfortunately, forced or unforced. And Ahmed Nurchebi had a bunch of leeches in his board, and apparently there's some leeching going on here too. And if it's not leeching, it's at least ridiculous power fights to profile themselves.
And posturing and just like whatever it takes to get what I'm going for kind of mentality.
Yeah.
By the way, while I'm on this rant, I just want to say, if anyone is Chinese and listening, your sort of flagship beer is garbage. Very beautiful, shiny label, right? Great job there. But your beer tastes like crap. I want that on the record. What do we think, guys? What do we do? Like, where do we go from here? Yes, that's a great idea.
Let's do some comments, and then we
real
can...
quick. Yeah, okay. After the comments, though, Con, what I want us to do is talk about
the professional. What I was trying to say is, if we had a proper professional in charge of building the squad, if you gave him the budget, the money that was spent, and said, go and use this money to build this team, I think we would have ended up with a more balanced team if a professional was doing it. It might not have been the complete polished article where we might not have like the star power or whatever, but I think at least it would have been a balanced team. It wouldn't have been missing profiles, and we could have at least.
But we can't forget the difficulties they had as well with the foreign limit, and
Well, and look, every attempt that they made to professionalize the inside of the board and management in general, you see the reaction it got, right? They had to oust.
And I think
honestly, like here's an unspoken thing. Remember how Tab Ramos was about to come in? That's not happening, right? And I think there's a sense, perhaps,
I thought he was already hired.
He was.
I mean, I assume that's done now. Is he going to come to this chaos?
With Friedel, you'd imagine.
Yeah, what's Brad Friedel going to tell him? But so, I mean, this is my point. I think there was probably a sense like, okay, we've got this Friedel guy from, this scouting network in, and he's bringing in like another outsider who's looking at things from an objective who will kind of call us out on our bullshit if we take power. So I think there was a sense that like it was kind of now or never. If you get too many of those professionals in, and if you're a bad actor, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do, right? So I think. I mean, this is obviously a conspiracy theory, and frankly, you don't know which faction was the one that was doing this, right? Yeah. You have no idea, and so I'm not going to speculate on that. But some faction has obviously been undermining that attempt, and so as you say, Cartel, let's say we brought in a great, technical director, whatever it is, you'd have them being undermined by some freaking dark forces the whole time from day one. Like,
unless
we have to rid ourselves of this cancer before we can do anything. I feel like. But let me get into comments.
It was never like we have never been able to bring in a sporting director. Do you remember when we very briefly had Serkan Rejber as a sporting director? That lasted all about like 3 weeks or something. And and he left because it was unworkable because of board members behind the scenes not wanting to relent power. Because they want to be the guys on the pictures with the players.
The club needs to be sold. I think end of story. The only way we get out of this fucking mess is if this club's sold.
Yeah, but
I hate to say, but to who?
Yeah, in an ideal world, if you get the right person to buy the club, and I think that is possible But the problem with the Congress is that there's so much corruption in that Congress. Can you trust that Congress to make the right decision into who we will sell to and who we won't sell to? Like, who are you gonna sell to? You're gonna sell the club to some Arab?
Yeah. No, and you know what? Ideally, it would be like a sort of ghost type of thing, but like a higher profile one. Like maybe we join like the Man City network.
Yeah, but then if
the City Boys, whatever the hell they call them.
Sinan,
I don't know.
Sinan, then you're always going to be number two, number
You'll
3.
Always be, or 3 or 4,
in the
probably.
Pecking order. Yeah, you don't want to Red Bull Beşiktaş. Do you want to be subservient to Salzburg or to Leipzig? Of course not. Yes, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I think in an ideal world,
maybe we could create our own network and just someone with foresight.
If there was some sane billionaire in the Beşiktaş fandom that is willing to appoint professional people, and
how dope would that be? Imagine
that would be ideal. But for example, how many? I mean, there's let's say Rami Koch wasn't 93 years old or however old he is, and he would buy the club and he'd actually put professional people in charge. That would be ideal, but
I would love for some very forward-thinking Turk, or I don't even care. It could be a Swede or a freaking, I don't care, Frenchman. Even, I mean, probably not a gringo, because we saw that one with Frito. People are just going to reject him outright. But, you know, someone with some foresight and a lot of money, and they were like, all right, Beşiktash is going to be like the head of my new network, and I'm going to buy like the best team in Albania, and the best team in freaking Kazakhstan, and the best team in, you know, and then you could scale up from there, you know, maybe the best, or like a good Saudi team or some shit, whatever the hell it is. But, you know, like, I would love
the fantasy,
for someone who loves Beşiktaş with a ton of money. You know what? Here's the deal. I'm gonna get published. I'm gonna get my novel onto HBO. I'm gonna IPO that shit. I'm gonna make a ton of movies, comic books, and I'm gonna buy this fucking. No,
it's gonna take a long while.
Let me jump into comments. I know we don't have time for that.
It might take 30 years, and you'll be almost 70 by then.
I know, and I'll be like Rami Koch, like.
But like, yeah, I mean.
All right, no, I'm just kidding.
Even if,
like that's a worst case
even if
scenario.
the ideal candidate would exist, I don't think that you could ever get it through the Congress, because there's too many people who wanna suck this club dry.
Yeah, vampires, man. Okay, let's do some comments. Go ahead, Cartel.
The government should force the big clubs into selling.
Yeah, let's trust the government. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know about a government, a better version of. Anyway, let's do comments.
Then we become some AKP club.
Who says this? It could be the next government, you know.
I'm surprised we had for all of our inflammatory comments. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a stream of people commenting with or against what we're saying, but. I guess in their defense, I think they're just taking in.
I don't want
our rancor
involvement in Beşiktaş.
Yeah, I hear that. All right. From the Heart videos got it started, saying I can't imagine Gio staying after all of this, and I think neither can anyone else. Nobody. He's gone.
Yeah.
Jason. Jason, good to see you.
They're talking severance package right now from the Heart, so like Gio's gone. Like it's just
I don't
they're
think
just
he
working
makes
out
it
the
to
financial
Hatay.
details. He's not going to be in charge on Sunday against Hatay. I think it's Sunday, right? And
hashtag Toprak Tepe season back. Jason, when doing math and accounting rehearsal is more fun than Beşiktaş. Yeah, and yet we're here, all of us commiserating. That's the sort of problem we all have, isn't it? Anyway, Yusuf follows it in question for Cartel. Cartel, you ready to answer this one? Is it really worth being alive like this?
It's worth being alive, but sometimes I do question if it's worth being a Beşiktaş fan.
Makes you feel alive.
That's right. You know, I'll tell you what. On the back end, I was a baseball fan as a kid. I was a New York Yankees fan, and they became the evil empire, and they would just buy all. They were like the Real Madrid of the baseball world, and it actually made baseball untenable for me as the type of fan that I am. So there is a flip side to this where it could theoretically be even worse. You know, keep that in mind. I would never want to be a Galatasaray fan, right? Like if you had to win like that, what kind of a person are you? No, I'm kidding. I have Galatasaray friends. If you're listening, I still kind of like you. Moving on. Grey Wolf, bring back Suleiman Seba. Yeah, his corpse. Hell,
Please.
What the hell? It's probably better than.
But we should not make
deluded
ourselves
assholes.
any illusions. By the way, these problems have always existed. These shady characters in the board. There's always been shady characters.
It's just gotten a lot worse.
It's definitely gotten a lot. It's gotten out of control.
I think the social media era has made everything worse because you can weaponize all these freaking idiots online to basically be your like zombie mass or whatever the hell it is you want. Anyway,
like, I mean, like we were talking about what Firat Günayer is saying, but Firat Günayer, like,
I feel like
talk
the whole
about a zombie. Talk about a zombie.
His pocket, man.
Yeah, but if he's in
if
he's in Yücel's pocket, then why would he be saying like that doesn't make Yücel look good? What he's saying, so who's to say? Who's to say he isn't in somebody else's pocket?
They're all saying it would be fucked without Yücel's money. So they're all saying that.
Yeah, that does
That's true.
seem to be a
That's
trend.
true. That's true.
Anyway, Erdal Esen. Oh, Kartal, you're on this duty. You got some Turkish here.
Yeah, I can't. Wait there.
You want me to try to read it? I'll expose myself. Şimdi ne olacak? Beşiktaş başkan istifa. Teknik direktör gitti. What do you say about that?
Hey, wait there. I'm just going to get it up myself.
What now? The president has resigned and the coach is gone. That's all it means.
Yeah, that's pretty much just what happened, isn't it? And then, do you want to read that next one, Khan? Devre Arad.
Wait there. I'm just going to get the comments.
I don't
up
see
there.
it. Devre Arda. That
Hey,
means during
so
the
he's saying-
break, during the January break.
Basically,
I was
yeah,
saying we should sell Sammy for 20 million.
Yeah. So basically, he said what exactly Khan said. So he says what's going to happen with Beşiktaş. The president's gone, the manager's gone, and now he's saying
We should sell Sammy for 20 mil.
he's made a bit of a spelling mistake there. But yeah, he's saying we should sell Semi for 20 million. He's made a bit of a spelling mistake there, but yeah.
What do you guys think?
Don't
A bit of a
shame
tangent?
people for their spelling mistakes. That's my thing.
We only have room for one grammar Nazi in this group. Actually, that should be me, man. I'm a freaking
Two,
English teacher.
You and me.
Two, at least. Anyway, what do you guys think about that? Send me for 20 mil. You down?
Yeah, at this point, yeah. Because apparently we need money.
I mean, it's like a drop of water on a hot plate. I still think you with Semi you want to get the as high as possible fee. I think you can get more than 20 at least. He's on the rise again recently, so.
Yeah, I would say maybe wait till the summer.
You know, I mean, supposedly there was a 24 million bid for him from Tottenham in the summer, so you know.
Well, there was a 23 million euro offer from Aston Villa. They're all going to give us their left back and also let us keep Semi for another year.
Can they fuck off with the old ass people, the 30-year-old or 31-year-old left back? No way. Give us something good.
Anyway, so next up we have Özkan Zerzavaci, long time
Özkan,
listener.
one of our Patreons.
Özkan. Yeah. He says, hi, guys. And he had a beautiful message for the group chat the other day, by the way. Thanks for that. You guys probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Özkan says, hi, guys. So done with most of this team. Been most of these guys off. Yeah.
I think we all are, man.
We're all on the same page there. Grey Wolf, if we are going to continue to play poor mind as well as play the long and recover financially by employing Turkish coaches and players.
Yeah, but I
can fix this. Okay, if we're going to continue to play poorly, we might as well play for the long term and recover financially by employing Turkish coaches and players.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy they hired Gio. They keep hiring bad coaches.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
is Gio a bad coach?
I don't think Gio's a bad.
I don't think
Gio's a bad coach, but he clearly wasn't the right coach. He's too nice. Like, Turkish football is too cutthroat for someone like that.
I get the logic of Turkish players, right? Because he means like let's focus on sort of the academy and
there isn't any.
I know.
So
I get it. I get the idea, but then I also don't like the Turkish coach thing. Like, I mean, I guess at this point you know they're going to be out quite soon.
This is what upsets me so much, man. See, with like Val, Santos, Gio, I didn't want any of those coaches, man. Didn't want one of them.
Not a single one of them is known for playing attractive attacking football. Like,
a single one. And that's all I wanted, man. I wanted a foreign coach that was known for playing attractive attacking football.
If we were playing, like, you remember, I don't know, you're a little young maybe, but if you remember Bernd Schuster, he was pretty known for playing attacking football. He played with a ridiculously high line and we got fucked on the counter all the time, but at least there was something exciting. Like, I would sign for that right now, like just a coach with balls. Like, you know Peter Bos, who's currently PSV coach, and now with PSV he's gonna win back-to-back titles and everything. But for years he was known as a kamikaze coach, a really good coach, but his teams would always get fucked. They couldn't win the championship because they would have too many games in which they'd get fucked. But I would love to just get fucked on the counter instead of getting fucked with your back against the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works,
no way out.
but like just
I know what you mean.
with the pitch football,
that could be like a
the
pause.
sitting back,
Pause.
and the miserable game we play. Like, I just want to have exciting football. And if we lose a couple of games here and there and we miss out on the championship because we are maybe a little bit too enthusiastic going forward, so fucking be it. But right now and last season, and quite fucking honestly, for the last 7 or so years, ever since the 2017-18 season, watching Beşiktaş for the most part has been like pulling fucking teeth. It's like watching paint dry. It's almost a decade of absolute utter bullshit coaches. Abdullah fucking Avci, Valerian Ismail, Fernando Santos.
Gee, I didn't need to hear that name right now. That put me in a spiral. Hold on.
Güneş in his Alzheimer period.
That was the most depressing phase.
The only exciting football we have seen in years now, consistently exciting football, was like 1.5 years of Sergen, and then that went to fucking shit as well. But like, we have had very little to cheer about. Yeah. Kartal was saying before the game
and
yesterday,
even under Sergen, we were so reliant on the kind of like Gazal Rosier interaction,
and even,
right? Like the,
exactly, and even under Sergen, I don't know if you guys remember, but how many times did we say after the first half, like, oh my god, that was a horrible first half, and then we'd come out of the dressing room and he'd had kicked their asses during halftime, and we'd play a much better second half, and we'd still win the game, but we still were just watching a horrible first half. Like,
there was times where Sergen played very defensive as well. Like, we were criticising him for playing like 3-6s in midfield.
Yeah.
That happened. I mean,
yeah, that happened too.
We played some good games with Sergen as well, but there was a lot of fucking really boring ones there.
No. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, Kartal, that like that's the only that 1.5 year period is probably the only 1.5 year period where we relatively consistently watch some exciting football. And like ever since at least 2018, 2019, when I think it really started, like shit really started hitting the fan, because 2017, 2018, we still had that amazing Champions League run. We had a really good second half of the season, but 18, 19, I think is when it really started all just crumbling down. Like 18, 19, 19, 20, that was terrible. Then we had 2021, we won the league. Then 21-22 was not that bad in the sense that
21-22 is like the really bad season before last season.
I know, it was really bad, but I still think we watched some good football in that season at times. And at a certain point, the team just, like now, broke and just it went to shit completely. But at the beginning of the season, I think it's very comparable to this season actually. The beginning of the season of 21-22, we looked very good. We looked really good. And then we did the same thing now, but then after like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, suddenly like shit just completely like the reason back then was injuries mainly. I don't know what the fuck.
Are we talking about Val?
No, that was Sergen. When Sergen
second season.
Then Val came in after that, and then we watched half a season of that, him trying to figure out how to play big club football and just couldn't figure it out. And then
do you not remember, man, at half-time, we were winning 3-0 when Sergen was coaching, we're saying, oh, we're champions again, easy, back to back.
Yeah.
Then second half, everything just went to shit. Yeah. And then
that was the moment. I feel like we haven't recovered from that.
We can't forget though that was also a referee screw job.
Yeah, it was. Ali Palabik, man, I was raging at the time as well. That last goal was a foul.
Yeah.
On
multiple falls.
I think there were two.
Falls.
There was 2 goals.
There was a handball. And then Assam Balongo was like pulling down Rosier on the line so he couldn't clear the ball off the line. And, and there was like a push fall in the air as well, I think. So there was like 2 falls, a handball.
And wasn't their second goal also weird?
On top of that, he was playing like 2 minutes over the time he had already. He had given like 5 minutes extra time, and we were like minute 97 or something.
Yeah. No, man.
Anyway, comments, guys, comments. Here we go. Okay, so where were we? We had Erdal, Özkan, Grey Wolf. No. I was doing that because of the weight of these next comments. It's about to get intense. Özkan says, we think we get great deals for named players. I think it means big names, but the reality is 9 out of 10 we get a bargain bin over the hill player with an attitude that stinks, or they're past it. It's like buying a Tesla without the battery. Yeah. Grey Wolf, at least the Turkish coaches know the league and players. Ismail Kartal, haha. That's not what I wanted to hear. Bergen did well for a short time, but failed miserably in Europe and the league after winning the league. Bergen? Sergen. Okay. Yes. Sergen did sort of relatively well. I guess we've already had that conversation. Uzkan says, Chiro was a disgrace, basically playing with 10. J. Mario was shite.
I feel like we need to give Chiro a pass, guys. He's just coming off an injury. I really think people are being too harsh for Chiro.
But then he says best players were Stemi, Cher when he came on, and Sally too. I would. For me, it's probably Rafa.
Yeah, Rafa,
Jedson, yeah, you're missing a few there.
I mean, but I think, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say.
But Cher and Sally definitely came on and made a contribution.
Yeah,
right
for
there.
sure. They changed the game until we missed that penalty. Definitely, especially Sally, I want to say.
And then he says Semi was the only guy who actually looked like he turned up to play. Yeah,
he was fired up like always.
He had energy. Yeah. That's why I kind of like him on the wing sometimes, because he does have the capacity to, like, assert himself.
His shots weren't really good though. Like,
yeah.
Rushed
he got us the handball. He got us the
handball.
All right, continuing. Grey Wolf. For some reason, it seems the majority of the players don't want to play. Yeah, we've hit on that. Umer Gunal enters with the line, depression hour.
I can only point at one player where I really have the impression that he's like, and that's Masuaku. I don't have that feeling with I don't have that feeling with Svensson. I definitely don't have that feeling with Udukai or Paulista. I definitely don't have that feeling with Jetson or Rafa. I don't have that feeling with Rasichka, even though he was shit. I don't have that feeling with Semi. I don't have that feeling with Chiro. Like, Joao Mario, yeah. I mean, I think he definitely regrets his decision.
Yeah.
Musrati.
I mean, he could help his case though, man. Like, why are his passes so bad? It's beyond, like, I've seen highlights of him. Like, he's not this bad of a player.
No, he's not. Like, but he's also coming off of a really difficult period at Benfica, where he was very comparable to now at Beşiktaş. Like, he was very, very criticized last year, and I just think that he's gone from a very low. I think we brought him in on super low confidence, and he just hasn't been able to turn things around. I think he was hoping for a change of scenery would do him well, but he's gone from one toxic cesspool into the next.
Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah,
he was getting criticised that he was basically in a bad situation at Benfica, and he came in what was a good situation at the time. It was turned into a bad one. I think this guy, man.
Maybe he's the
reason.
No, but we have problems that go beyond him, because he didn't even play against Gustav.
Yeah. Of course, man. Obviously,
terrible.
He was
fun and
really.
games.
I mean, as soon as things started going bad, he was immediately pegged as the scapegoat, and that just killed any chance of him succeeding at Beşiktaş, I think.
And here's the thing, fans. Like, sometimes you create these self-fulfilling prophecies, right? Like, if you tell someone they're terrible before they get the chance to show you, they may damn well come out being terrible. Congrats on that.
Definitely.
Congrats on your foresight, Nostradamus is over there. Anyhow, continue on. So Umer Gunal entered the chat with depression hour, which is accurate. Ruskan Zerzevaci comes back. He says it wasn't the penalty. He means as far as your, I think, defensive Cheetah. He goes, he had 0 impact, 2 shots, the shot to get the penalty and to miss it. But then Grey Wolf defends, I think, your point, which is that Haaland and Mo Salah both missed penalties this week in the Champions League, which it's probably worth noting. Yeah, and like you said,
who else is gonna take that penalty? Rafa has never in his career taken a penalty. Who was supposed to take the penalty? I agree.
So it was gone.
He was bad in this game, and in an ideal world, when a player's playing bad, you have somebody else take the penalty. But who was gonna step up to take that penalty?
We all got to see Mustafa Hekimola. I don't know if that's what we wanted to see. Continuing.
Let's not pick on
Uzkan Zerzevaci.
So
no, you know what I mean, though. I mean, nobody was like, "Oh, here we go. It's a Mustafa season." No. Anyway, Uzkan followed up. Sorry, correction. In 90 minutes, it was 1 shot off target. In 90 minutes,
he had a poor game.
No offside.
He had a poor game, but it's not because he has a poor game. And again, coming off an injury, clearly not fit enough to play on Sunday against Göztepe. I don't think he's. Honestly, I don't think he was fit enough to play this game, but he played because we don't have any other option. Because otherwise, here's where you starting or something, you know. Mucci is here's where you lose.
Yeah, you're losing me on this next comment, Uzkan, because he says he's awful. I wouldn't play him for the next few games, and I think that's the exact opposite. You got to get him back. You got to get his that scoring instinct back into him, right? Like it's worth noting he had like 8 goals in 8 games for a minute there. So yeah, nonetheless, just I'm saying, you know, you need he's your only striker, so you need him to get comfy out there. Moving on. Uzkan follows that up. To be clear, he wasn't the only issue, but part of the issue we had. Playing with a striker that shoots blanks, a midfield with more holes than a sieve, and a defense as useful as a paper hat.
Shoots blanks.
Is the defense as useful as a paper hat in rain?
Shoots blanks. I think that's really harsh, man.
Also, a midfield with more holes than a sieve. I mean, I think we talked about this. I think it's really a case where the defense needs to step up, you know, to be the ones cutting out that back.
The game plan. The game plan is what is our game plan? Sit back and hope to counter? That first half we were 100% only looking to counter. They were playing.
But can't sit back and hope to counter with 60% of the ball.
Yeah, but that's second. That's second half. You know, first half. I mean, let me look what the possession. And I'm sure that the last 10 minutes or so will skew it a little bit. But like for 35 minutes, we were just watching them and chasing the ball.
I saw it was like we had 41% of the ball until our goal, like right around when we scored.
It's possible. Yeah, that seems plausible.
But anyway, Finnish Kebab says score predictions against a tie. He's like changes that. If this was September or October, I would say 2 or 3 goal win, but now it smells like a 1-1 draw. I mean, do we even know who our coach is?
Yeah, say that probably, but I think we'll be lucky if we get a draw, man. Like, I fully expect Abubakar to fuck us sideways.
Yo, Abubakar's gonna have like a fucking brace. Oh my god, you know he's gonna. This is exactly the chance he's been waiting for. To be like, are you sure you don't miss me?
Has he scored a single goal for Hatay? I think he's gonna.
Last week.
He scored last week. Okay, well,
all the more reason.
He's gonna score 3, I think. I have no confidence whatsoever that we are gonna get anything from that game. Maybe
who's gonna stop?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, but Serdar Toprak-Tepe. I mean, Sinan, what was it you called him? Because I thought that was
a cardboard cutout. So all right, and let's real quick. It's worth noting. So our choices for manager are a failed Giovanni van Bronckhorst, who's a little bit too soft, I think, for this scenario. We have a cardboard cutout of a coach in Serdar Toprak-Tepe, and then we have like the chaos agent instead again. Like when people are like, "Oh, do you want Gio to be fired, or how do you feel about Sergen coaching or whatever?" My honest answer is, I don't freaking care. In that, like, none of these are ideal options, and I don't know that anything good will come of these next 6 months. I freaking care, man. I
freaking care. I did a poll.
Not between those 3. For me, it's a rock, a hard place, and something else sharp.
I did a poll.
don't know.
I did a poll, and at 48 votes, did this poll about an hour and a half ago, I think, 2 hours ago. So with Giovanni van Bronckhorst now inevitably on the verge of departure, do you want Sergen to become the new Beşiktaş coach? And we have 48 votes. 46% say yes, and 54% say no. Probably worth pointing out that Haber Kartale had did the same poll, but obviously they have a lot more reach than I do. They had over 25,000 votes, I think, and theirs was 73% yes. So it's clear that among the Beşiktaş fandom, an overwhelming majority wants to see Sergen in charge. And I think on this podcast, and I think the listeners and the viewers, if you would have asked us a week ago, I think we would have all said no. But honestly, I think it's the only solution right now.
Even after he's dished half the team.
Especially because he's fucking right. And they deserve that shit. They didn't deserve it at the time, but they fucking deserve it now. Apparently he's Nostradamus and saw it before we did. Because, I mean...
Yo, let me see Halim Okta. I don't know.
I really hope.
No, we need somebody to come into that locker room and to stir shit up. We need someone to kick these players' asses, man. Because what's been the one common fucking denominator that this board has always had. They've always hired coaches that came in with a soft fucking hand. Now we need a Yilmaz Vural throw a fucking shoe at an asshole's face, kick his...
Supposedly Santos was a disciplinarian, but it didn't make a difference.
A disciplinarian, but not in the way of just kicking players' asses, man.
I'm not, I gotta be honest, Con. That's not, for me personally, I don't think that's the solution.
No, that's fine, but I don't see another solution right now. Because you're not.
I don't see. See, here's my problem. I don't see a solution.
Okay, fair enough. But if you stick with Gio, I think it's only gonna get worse. Because for the last 5 matches, every game has been a little bit worse than the next. And yeah, I know at Feyenoord he had 9 games where he didn't win. You can't compare the pressure of Feyenoord to the pressure of Turkish football, especially at the top 3. Can't compare it. Like once you're in that spiral, you're not coming out of it unless you are a fucking incredible coach.
But to be clear, I'm not saying that I'm pro Giovanni van Bronckhorst. What I'm saying is I have no idea what we should do at this point because
I understand.
And even beyond that, like we've long been at a point where it's like, what kind of sane individual would come here into this mess?
Exactly. You're not gonna.
And it's only gotten worse. Yeah. It's like the sieve of pressure is just increasing on this role to the point where if you're going in there, you got to be prepared for like a 6-month stint of failure.
If you want to come in now, you need to be wearing a hazmat suit. I mean. Look, what are our options? Stick with Gio? Give the reins to Serdar for the rest of the season? Or Sergen? Like, any half-decent foreign coach is not gonna come. And quite frankly, do we want a half-decent foreign coach? Because that's what we got with Gio. And that's not gonna work. So you either need to bring like a really fucking good coach like Sergio Conceição. That's not fucking happening though. And in the Turkish landscape right now, are you gonna bring? Do you think if you bring in Çağdaş that he's gonna turn this shit around? İlhan Palut that he's gonna turn this shit around? I mean, if you bring those guys in right now, they're set up for failure because the fans want Sergen, and they will. And the first match, if they don't win it, they're already calling for their heads. So there's no winning with anyone else. Gio, it's only gonna get worse. Serdar, we saw last season what that does. It's not gonna get any better with Serdar. We know what we're gonna get. At least with Sergen, you don't know shit. It might get worse. It might stay the same.
I think it might get worse. I think it might get worse or might stay the same. But it could get better as well.
Exactly. There's a possibility that it could get better. I'm not saying it is gonna get better, but there's a possibility. And I think with Gio and with Serdar, I don't see that. With Sergen, there's a glimmer of hope that is going to kill us. But I think you need to grab that glimmer.
Well, I think
there's also a chance it could go so much worse than it would.
Yeah, but
like,
at least
I don't know.
At least, Sinan, if you bring Sergen, you get the fans back. At least for a while. At least for a 4 or 5 game stretch. You get those fans back. And I think we need that right now.
if Sergen fails, are we just going to say, "Oh, the fans want Chanel Gunesh, bring him back for a third time"?
No, fuck that.
That's we've literally turned into a fucking joke. That's like a merry-go-round.
That's my fear too.
But there's a big difference there. Chanel Gunesh is 73 years old. He's already had his second chance. Sergen hasn't.
Sergen was so bad with Antalya. Yeah, all right, whatever. I mean,
see if Sergen they go shit. Like I swear to God, man. Like, or maybe I shouldn't do that because maybe it wouldn't work out. But
what do we lose? What do we lose if Sergen is shit? What do we lose?
The fans who want Chanel Gunesh back, man. I'm telling you, they're that stupid.
Yeah, they probably.
I'll be right back.
But.
I'm not talking about all listeners. All listeners are not like that, but the general fucking fan who wants Chanel Gunesh back.
Shout out our listeners, by the way, man. I love the that poll difference for me signifies that we have an informed fan base. I'll be right back.
We've got a very informed listener base, but the general Beşiktaş fan isn't like our listener base. They're not. They'll want if it goes to shit with Sergen, they'll say bring fucking 73-year-old Chanel back, and then if it doesn't go well with Chanel, they might say, "Oh, we'll try a foreign coach again."
I think with Chanel, we've seen that he doesn't have the. It doesn't. I mean, look at the current state of Trabzon right now. Like Chanel is not a crisis manager.
Sergen was absolutely shit with Antalya, man.
Yeah, but I think Sergen has proven in the past that he can do well in a crisis, and if he's gonna be motivated at Beşiktaş. He also I think he will know he comes in. This is his. He's not gonna get another chance, I think, after this. If he fucks this, that's his career over. That's his coaching career over. I mean, maybe some stupid club that's fighting relegation will give him a chance, but you know what I mean. Like, this is like, if he takes this job, that's his career over. That's any dream to become Turkish football national team coach out the window. Like, he can't just come and half-ass it. He'll have to take it serious, because otherwise he'll never get the job anymore at Beşiktaş in the future, and he'll never get the job for Turkey either. Something he's been.
Honest with Sergen, can? The guy's not tried to fucking develop himself at all.
No, but we also know what Sergen's problem is consistency. That's his problem. He'll try for a while and do well, and then he'll eventually get complacent and let it go to shit. But right now, I'm happy to just get that short. If we can get it. I'm not saying we will, but if we can get that, like 6 months of it going better, I'm happy with that, man. I'll take it.
Then what do we do? Change the coach in 6 months? Hopefully we at least get a year and a half like we did last time. Hopefully.
But if the board changes, they can do whatever they want. But let's get there first. I don't want another season like last season where watching every game is a chore, man. I mean,
or that we have like 6 managers.
I don't know, man. Part of me feels like just the season's fucked anyway. Just let Gio see it out. Another part of me saying maybe it's the right.
No.
Don't know, man. I'm really, to be honest, I feel bad for Gio, man.
There's still 3 European games. It's unlikely, but you can still qualify for the next round.
Not Sergen to get a result in Europe. The guy's never.
Yeah, but let's bring in 2 coaches. Sergen for the league and somebody else for Europe. How about that?
Who's the coach going to be for Europe, man? Fucking.
Give Sergio Conceição $2 million per game, and maybe he'll do it. No, I don't know, man. I
hate our position.
But there's still a chance that we qualify for the next round in Europe. I don't see it happening, but it's still possible. And then there's still the Turkish Cup. The season isn't over yet. See
if Sergen actually done a really good job at Antalya, man. I'd be saying I'd say, but like,
If he did, he wouldn't be available.
Well, if Beşiktaş came calling, you don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I'm pretty sure like some managers that have got a history with Beşiktaş have had clauses in their contracts. There's that Shalimbai, they always talked about a clause where if Beşiktaş came calling, he could leave.
Yeah.
Maybe Sergen could have had a similar thing in his Antalya contract, who knows?
Maybe.
But this guy, for
But he
2
kind
years,
of took that job out of spite, though. Let's not forget.
Was that?
He kind of took that Antalya job out of spite.
Yeah, he did. That's right, he did. Yeah,
I don't think he really wanted to take it. So I don't think his heart was ever really in it, honestly. He just took that job because he knew he wasn't gonna get the Beşiktaş job, and yeah.
Does it not concern you though, bro, that this guy, apart from 6 months at Antalya, sat in his arse for the last 3 years?
No, yeah, dude, it's not an ideal situation, but what else can we do? This team needs a shock effect, and they're not gonna get it from Serdar. They're not gonna get it from Gio, because Gio's gonna just keep playing with the same 14, 15 players. At least if you bring in Sergen, maybe he'll kick Masuaku out.
We tried the shock effect thing 5 times last year and it didn't work once.
Yeah, but it was never a shock effect, though. It was never a shock effect. It was never a shock. It was never. You in a situation like this, you need a crisis manager, and all those guys who we got last season, Burak, Riza, Santos, Serdar, they aren't crisis managers. What you needed to do last season was bring Sergen or fucking Yilmaz Vural, someone like that. There's a profile. You know what I mean? Like
I think Riza was seen as that kind of profile, but it went
no. Riza is a long-term coach. At every club he's had any form of success. He's been there for a while. He builds it.
But he gives that kind of he gives those authoritarian vibes. Do you know?
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
he's not. He's
what people shape, but
being authoritarian doesn't mean you're a crisis manager. That you're good in crisis. Being a crisis manager means you're able to navigate the chaos.
I don't know, like.
There's a very big difference between being authoritarian and being able to navigate a crisis.
Everything that went on in the background, I do think that, like, part of me really does think that we need a Turkish coach just now, and that could be Sergen, right? But on the other hand, I think there's a good chance it will just stay this shit anyway. So why don't we just see out with Gio?
There's a chance, but if there, but there's a good chance it stays shit. But there's also a chance that it doesn't, and you have to take that chance. I think you have to. You can't just keep doing what we're doing, because then you already know what's gonna happen.
I don't know, man. Like he might turn that around, man. Like, what if we get back to that football from the start of the season? Like, it's unlikely.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Let's get to the comments.
But, I mean, whatever. Yeah, let's get to the comments.
You might turn it around.
Finish kebab. We did that. Umar Gunal, how does that prove anything? He didn't step down because he wants to. So obviously, if Hassan Arat does something that helps Hassan Yücel, Hussein Yücel, he's doing it by force. We don't know that, but it's not a reason to not consider.
Obvious? Why is that obvious? That's pure speculation. You don't know anything that makes that obvious. Like, that's just speculation.
Yeah.
Why if Caesar got stabbed in the back by Brutus, why would he willingly help Brutus to become emperor of Rome first before he breathes his last breath? Like,
maybe he has a sex tape. No, I'm kidding. Moving on.
Yeah, no. But look, that's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. Maybe he has something on Arat, or maybe he's threatening him somehow. But
well, Arat knows that it's going to go to complete shit if we don't have his money to pay the wages.
Yeah,
that could be another.
That was my theory. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep moving because we've already sort of done all this.
That's pure speculation. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that makes sense at all.
It would be more harmful for the club to have 2 elections in the space of 6 months.
You think you really? I mean, I think it would be more harmful in the sense that our January window would be completely fucked. But I think if somebody just absolutely usurped you and fucked you sideways, I don't think there's any chance in hell you help them get what they want. Would you?
I mean, if I love the club, and I think that'd be in the short term better for the club.
And maybe he's kind of like, all right, you want this fucking mess? Take it, bitch. Sorry, pardon my language. Anyway, let's just move on because we've already sort of done this. So. Grey Wolf says, I don't care what anyone says. They need to stop with the freaking back passes, especially the poor form. They're in the opponent's goal area and they pass back and end up in our back area. Yeah, I mean, we do get pinned back. It's so pathetic to watch. And it's like, I guess no matter the ability of the opposition, it's the same.
Yeah, you get pressed. You don't see an immediate passing option. Back to Mert.
Boot it up, and then maybe he'll give them a chance.
That's my problem with this. Might as well see the season out with Gio. I can't, quite honestly, guys, I cannot bring myself to watch that for another 6 months. I really can't.
But I have to say, Con, I feel almost as strongly about 6 months with Sergen after what we've seen since the last, attempt at that. And it's not even that I don't think Sergen has the capacity to do what you're saying. It's just I don't know that our squad has the capacity to be resuscitated at this point. And I think,
but at least you'll have a January window. I think Yücel is probably gonna open up his pockets. If he brings in Sergen, he'll probably bring the players he wants. I mean, look,
wouldn't that be true with Giovanni van Bronckhorst too?
Yeah, but do you trust Giovanni van Bronckhorst?
But I don't trust Sergen.
Yeah, but I trust Sergen more than Gio when it comes to that, because Sergen at least knows what we need.
Personally, I trust them both about the same.
I mean, I seem to have. Gio supposedly was the guy who wanted Joao Mario. So
and recently they're saying that's not.
Yeah, wasn't that just recently poo-pooed? I mean, anyway, guys.
Somebody said that, yeah.
Let's not fight because it's just a waste of fucking time. At the end of the day, we'll find out what happens and we'll have to get behind it.
Had we brought Hulk like Sergen wanted?
Who?
Hulk! Look at his career in Brazil.
Yeah, he did well.
Since then, he scored 130 goals or something.
Sergen also wanted Pjanic, even though he used an 8 that played the pressed. He played a high pressing game, but he signed that fucking Pjanic who's an 8, who's not suitable for that game at all.
True. But
same thing.
Hulk!
Guys, let's just see what happens, and we'll have to get behind it no matter what. This is just where we are. By the way,
see, in terms of Gio, I've came to the conclusion with all this shit going on that it's probably too much for him. But at the same time, the reason why I'm saying that I'm not sure is because I'm really not happy about Sergen coming back either. So that's why I'm 50-50
It's by no means something I
desire.
I don't want it, but I don't see a better option. I think it's the least bad option. I think staying with Gio, that's guaranteed to be shit. Going with Serdar is just guaranteed to be super mediocre and probably shit.
I'm going to pose a question. Do you guys think that Gio could have been successful if we had a proper sporting director and we built a squad suitable for just this 4-3-3? Because that's not what he played normally. He didn't really use a number 10 at Rangers.
Yeah, I would.
He only used that 10.
I would think if he came next summer. Wow, my screen got even smaller this time. I would say if he got. I'm shrinking.
I think it might be a bandwidth issue on your part. I think you might have a low bandwidth, and I think it's doing that to compensate.
Yeah, that would make sense.
To keep the quality of the call good. Because I also noticed when I switched to your screen in the beginning that you were very stuttery. You had that last episode as well. You're a lot of tearing and stuff. It wasn't the fluid image.
Yeah,
I think it's doing that to keep the image fluid. Are you on Wi-Fi or on a cable?
I'm on cable with my computer, but I feel like maybe too many people are here, I'll turn it off on my phone. I'll just go to data. Oh no, that was the wrong thing. I did the opposite.
Maybe
anyway, maybe that'll. Yeah, but anyway,
don't worry about it. Just we can hear you loud and clear, and that's all that really matters.
That's the important thing. Oh look, I just gained a size because I put my phone on data instead of the internet.
Are people watching Netflix or stuff?
I bet it's my daughter. I'm sure it's my daughter. That little jerk. Anyway, what was I just saying?
So what I was saying, Sinan, is if without this chaos in the background.
Oh yeah, Giovanni. I
team for those 4-3-3. I think he would have. He maybe wouldn't have won the league or anything, but I think we would have been doing a lot better than we are just now.
If we'd had a bit of an interim plan, if instead of hiring Giovanni van Bronckhorst when we did and kind of making some of these bigger moves to try to make it work as best as we could for the short term, I think if we had built a kind of interim plan and then build out the squad like in January or whatever it is, and then next summer, for example, but if the fans would never accept this, right? They're so fucking impatient. But if we had a rational fan base, we could probably bring in a guy like Giovanni van Bronckhorst next summer with a full squad, and he might have a little bit more leeway to sort of be a silly, slightly frightened guy if he had enough talent around him, right? And I think it's obvious, we've talked about this all year, what he doesn't have is enough talent, and not specifically in terms of depth, but even just as far as filling out the 11, right? Like we have some fairly clear holes that I think a lot of managers would struggle with them. I think some managers could probably do better under this type of adversity, but again, if you'd given him a full squad, you probably wouldn't suffer this much adversity. So
I have a much more fun question, especially for Kartal.
Yeah. Go for it, man. What is it?
Do you think if we had gotten Jose Mourinho that we would be in this situation right now? That it would be this bad?
I think fucking Mourinho would have ripped through the board in the press by now.
Could have been worse, yeah, because we'd have to pay him 10 million to get out of his contract.
Yeah. But I mean, look, you especially, Kat, you were definitely poo-pooing Mourinho a couple of weeks ago, and quite honestly, I think he's turned shit around, man.
Yeah, but he's got a good squad. If we had,
of course.
Maybe it'd be doing a lot better.
He has a good squad, but still, like
Mourinho with our squad would probably wouldn't have had the start that Gio had, and maybe he wouldn't have been as bad as it is now because he probably has better chaos management with all the shit.
I think that's the important thing.
But I don't think we have that great start with Jose, and I don't think Jose's successful because with this team, man, with the chaos going on, I do think. I mean, as much as I grudgingly say it, I do kind of think maybe Sergen's maybe the best bet we have just now, even though I don't want it, man. But at the same time, it's quite sad to see how this has went from how good we were at the start and everyone was loving Gio to now. It's sad. I feel for the guy, and this is as someone that didn't want him. Like I could be a prick just now and say, "Oh, I fucking told you all."
I told you so.
Like he had that collapse at Rangers. He had got 0 points in the Champions League. He had a lot of injury problems in that second season. When he first came, he threw away the 4-point lead in the league. These were all things I spoke about, and the fact that he wasn't really known for attractive events of football. I could have these are all things I said before he came, and when he came, I didn't want him. And I could be sitting here saying I told you so, but now with the way it started and how good it was and the way it's went, I'm really sad it's really this has happened and this is how it's ended up, because it's as we were saying earlier on, it's when the hope is so high because we had such a great start for it to come crashing down, man, just makes it so much more painful, and it makes me feel really sorry for him.
Yeah.
As well as us, because I mean I said this at the start of the episode. I couldn't sleep till like 3 o'clock in the morning last night, man. I was just thinking about this shit, man. Like, what's going to go on with the presidency? If Sergen comes, hopefully it'll be like the first year and a half. But because of how bad he was at Antalya, I'm doubting that, and the fact that he shat on the team, man. Like, we're in a really bad position just now. Really, really bad position. Because Sergen could come in and the players could completely reject him because he spoke shit about half of them.
Yeah,
but it's really bad this position.
But do you think that these players at the moment have the balls to do that? Like,
Well, I don't know what they're like personality-wise.
Who did he shit on? He shit on Musrati, I think.
I'm pretty sure he said that Udokai and Emirhan aren't a duo that can be played together.
Yeah, but that makes sense because they're both left-footed. It's not ideal to play them together.
It's not ideal, but he's going to have to fucking use them now, unless he plays Talha.
Yeah.
Because Paulist is out for 3 months.
Let's hit these comments up, guys.
Who else did he shit on? No, I'd actually like to know because other than Musrati, I don't really know.
Bucci as well. He said he wouldn't have paid that money as well, and I'm pretty sure
right.
he said stuff about Rafa and Chiro as well. I'm pretty sure as well.
Rafa, I wouldn't say anything bad about because he's probably the best player we've had since Quaresma.
Yeah, he is even in this shit storm.
Where are we with this shit? How does that prove? Oh,
while
Grey
you're
Wolf. I
looking,
don't care what
Sinan,
anyone
while you're
says.
looking, guys,
Who did that?
in the comments, let us know what you think is the way to go right now. Who do you think should be coach? Do you see a better option than Sergen? Do you think staying with Gio has any merit? Do you think Serdar has any merit? Let us know what you think. Maybe there's an obvious candidate we're missing other than Yilmaz Vural. Is he still alive, by the way? I mean, he was like that guy that got brought in like every season when a team was about to relegate, but I feel like that's been like 5 years.
I think the last time was when we won the league. It was at Azurum.
Yeah,
You
maybe.
remember?
Did they?
Yeah, so that was
Did he save them? I don't even remember if he did. I think he might have.
Well, they went down.
Oh,
They went down.
Okay.
It's 4 years ago, the last time he got a job.
He must be.
Well,
He must
before
be
you-
in his 70s though.
Of course, man, he's an old man.
Yeah. It's probably just
I'll check.
It's probably just retired or something. I mean, not
Well,
fully, but can you find it, Sina?
Find what? Oh, the comment? Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Yeah,
Locked
go
and
ahead.
loaded. All right. And then I lost it. Okay, here we go. So Grey Wolf was next. He said, I don't see what anyone says they need to step. Oh, the back pass. We did that. And then Umer says, Fener spends as much as they make. Look at who they sold and look at us. I mean, yeah, we've talked about this for a long time. Our inability to sell, to develop players and sell them for a good fee has been terrible for us.
But you need, in order to sell, you first need to bring in players that you can actually flip.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
when have we ever brought in a Kim Min-jae or
Udokai!
or Elif Elmas, or who else have they sold? I mean, I think the whole what was his name, that Kosovaran striker that they got as much money as they got from him. I think that was
Moriki.
yeah. I think that was there's some shady shit going on there because he was not worth that money. But yeah, definitely they have done a better job at bringing in
Developable
players in their
talent.
prime or about to hit their prime and being able to flip them, like Atirat Salai, for example. Like he's actually not done well.
I never thought he was good.
but
I'm not surprised.
I liked him at Fener, but he went to Germany, I think, to I
Wolfsburg
forgot,
or
but-
something, maybe?
No,
Thought it was Wolfsburg.
I don't remember which team he went to, but anyway, he's not really doing that well there.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised. Kim Min-jae I rated. I didn't really rate...
I didn't really like him all that much. He made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, he
lifted
was
the
air
offside
front
trap
too.
constantly. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but like he wasn't as good as they made him out to be. I feel like whenever Fener have a player like that, they have a really good ability to hype those players beyond belief.
Like
Like Kim Min-jae, I think was a good player, but not that good. Not
I also
Bayern
have
München.
I have Sasha Bowie in that category too.
Yeah, no, same thing. I mean, Sasha Boy was really good for the Turkish league, but like he's not a Bayern München level
Overrated.
player, I think.
Anyway,
Kim J not absolutely killing it for Bayern now, though. I'm sure I read something like
is
that.
what?
I'm pretty sure Kim J is killing it for Bayern just now.
He might be. He did really well at Napoli
Yeah,
as
he
well,
did
and
even
did,
better
and,
in
and,
Spain.
and he was starting for
Italy.
Bayern. So like, I'm just saying, I didn't see it in him, but like, that's just me. What do I know?
What do any of us fucking know at this point? So then we have Umer talking about they shat on our club just to take photos with their favorite footballers. Never forget. I don't think we will. Umer says, I don't think we want to sell Semi. I think we will have to sell him. Oh, I mean, we don't want to, but we'll have to. Pause. I think
but
that
for
was
the
to
right
us getting...
price. We shouldn't be selling him cheap.
Yeah,
regardless.
of course.
Sell him, sure, but like, it has to be for the right price.
I think Umer is saying pause because you're talking about us getting fucked against a wall. Yeah, pause indeed. One awful thing online, people are making fun of the players for not performing after not getting paid. They're normalizing something that should be shameful. Yeah, I mean,
What aren't people normalizing?
I think we're normalizing players not getting paid by shitting on them despite the fact that we know they're getting paid. That we know that they're not getting paid, which...
I mean...
I'm sort of in the middle on that. I think there's a certain modicum of truth to that, but on the other hand...
I don't believe they haven't been getting paid consistently. I don't believe that.
I don't know what to believe.
If that, I wanna, it's possible, but I don't believe it, man. Like, unless you've not, I mean, you shouldn't, obviously they should be getting their wages on time, but trust me, players know when they go to Turkey that there's a distinct possibility they're gonna get their
you might
wages
miss a
late
month
from
or
time
two.
to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also know when you play for Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Beşiktaş, you're always gonna get your money. You're always
eventually.
getting it. Look at Victor Ruiz and Tyler Boyd. They got their money.
The hard way,
Not
for sure now.
the hard way, but they got it. You're always gonna get it. A club that cannot afford to go bankrupt, you're always gonna get your money.
Exactly.
It's the problem with these smaller clubs, like a Kayserispor, or Eskişehirspor, or Bursaspor. You might never see your money.
Yeah, they might.
Or it might take 10 years. But with Beşiktaş and Galatasaray, you're gonna get your money within a year or two. At worst case scenario. And if you're a regular player, you're getting paid. The only chance you're not gonna get your money for like a year or two is if you're like never playing, you're out of the squad, But let's not forget the whole Victor Ruiz situation as well. That was in the middle of COVID and stuff like that. He tore up his contract because he hadn't gotten paid, but like the club wasn't getting any money in at the time. Like, I think that was a pretty dick move on his part, quite honestly.
I mean, that's another thing about, like, Gio's never had to deal with a situation where his players aren't being paid on time, and I'd imagine if the players aren't being paid on time, he's not either. So that's another thing, hard for him to deal with. And
but what does that have to do with the low defensive line and then having no plan in attacking build-up and, like, I mean...
You're right about that, but it's like maybe like his motivation's been destroyed by what's going on in the background and that as well. He's like, we don't know how much of that's been like rubbed off on him. Maybe but
then you're saying he's half-assing it because he's not getting paid. Is that what you're saying then?
Well, it's a mixture of that, or maybe like.
Well, I mean, Khan, it's not necessarily half-assing so much as, like, to be motivated for your job is an important part of being successful, no matter your job,
of course.
right? Like,
but again, I'm going back to this. Like, when I see the players on the pitch, I don't see unmotivated players. I don't see players who are deliberately playing bad. I mean, other than Masuaku.
But that's also not, deliberately playing bad versus being unmotivated are also two different things in that.
If you're unmotivated, you're not gonna give 100% though. And
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, to deliberately play bad, right? That's like you're undermining something actively. Whereas, like if you're just not motivated and your like heart's not in it, and you're kind of just like, okay, like I know I gotta do my job. I'm not gonna like look like I'm not trying, but like. But
does Jetson strike you like a guy who's
well, no. I mean, I would say Jetson. Jetson looks like a guy who's fully committed to Giovanni van Bronckhorst's project, and I think he seems devastated by how it's gone.
If Udukai and Paulista weren't getting paid, do you think they'd be crying after a loss? You think they'd care that much? I think they'd be.
I think that they both felt like they had signed on to a really cool project, and it was going. I mean, just think about how well it was going. And for it to have taken this turn, I think we have a team of players who are sad, and you're right. I mean, that's because they don't want this to fail, and a number of guys are here for the right reason, and I think they loved that initial kind of outpouring of affection they were getting from fans and from everything. Like I think a lot of like Cheeto looked so devastated after that Göztepe match. I've never seen.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
Chiro after the Göztepe game, that doesn't strike me as a guy who doesn't want to be here.
Yeah,
But that doesn't necessarily mean that like there's
If you
still
want to win-
suboptimal conditions for
yeah.
peak performance. I guess.
The coach can want to win, but like if the shit that's going on in the background rubbing off on them a lot, it's going to affect their psyche and possibly their ability to perform. I'm not saying that's all of it, but it could be a factor.
It can definitely have an effect, but I think the biggest impact that anything has is the fact that they're losing matches, and that they're not that the game plan is shit, and that
It's certainly when it rains it pours situation, right? It feels like
yeah.
the moment you get scored on, it's like we're back to hanging our head and kind of.
I feel like
expecting the worst.
if you watched Fener last season, I think half the time the players on the field were making decisions, coaching. Like you're almost like Dzeko and Tadic were like almost coaching the team, and I feel like we missed that. We lack those types of players. I don't think we have that really. Maybe, yeah. I don't think.
I mean, dude, and like, let's also be serious for a moment too about like we've had a lot of terrible luck with injuries, right? We're a team lacking in depth that lost players in key positions, and I mean, Cheeto is a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, we've all agreed he's come in and had a bad game, but he's coming in after a pretty extended time out because of injury.
I think before he got
and again,
injured,
that's
he
terrible
was-
luck. Like, who else would play, right? Like, in a sense, he probably had to rush back because what are you going to play, Mustafa Hekimola? Or what? You're going to play Semi up top and then fucking Masuaku
I mean,
on the wing
let's
again?
not forget, Gio wanted to rest him against Ajax for a reason, and we just don't have. If we would have had, for example, Paulo Nuachu, I think we would be seeing a much better Ciro Immobile because he wouldn't have to play every game. And that's if you remember, that's one of the things that Vittorio told me in our interview about Ciro before the season. He said that like he's gonna have to miss a game every once in a while. That was his biggest problem at Lazio, that he wanted to play every single game, and they tried to get him to play every single game. And then he started picking up small injuries, and his form went to shit. And that's kind of what's happening now with us.
I think if you had Apollo and actually Rafa Silva would be scoring a lot more goals as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Just if you had
Well,
some
and
goals
here's another thing that could happen. If you had an Onuachu, you could
could
see
play-
perhaps Giovanni van Bronckhorst having a little bit more cojones to like try out some tactics with 2 strikers and 3 defenders. You know, like you might see more variability and a better plan B.
He
with
could have
the
tried
capacity
Simi
to
and
provide.
Ciro up top for a couple of months as well, though, and he never tried it.
Perfect.
So, I mean,
Well,
again, like
but I mean, clearly there's been that hesitation to play Semi as a striker, though.
yeah,
so,
but
I mean, look,
that's
whatever it
that's
is.
detrimental, though. I mean, I think
Semi done well.
Gio has
2 goals.
experimented very little. Like he's experimented with trying a couple of players, but like he's stuck to his 14-15 man squad, and like he hasn't really tried different formations. He hasn't really tried a lot of different approaches. He's just stuck with what he's been doing, and he's regressed in that, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what you think, Kartal, because
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly regressed, man, and it's going awful. For me, I really think the shit going on in the background has really rubbed off on him, and I think that's affected him.
and remember, guys, we keep talking about how nothing's
don't
ever
see
black
it-
and white.
And possibly the wages being late in the last month as well, because I don't see how you can go from that, the way you went at the start of the season, to this now.
but there's also
And
a
guys,
very
look, it's a confluence of many things, right? You've got, like we've said, the salary stuff, the sort of morale stuff, all that stuff. We also have poorly timed injuries. We have a lack of depth, right? We're starting to find a lot of pretty good reasons for us to be at least underperforming. Anyway, let me go back to these comments,
just
guys,
a second,
so that we
Sinan.
can actually
Stick
get
with
through
the
these.
comment, but I want to say one thing. Like, there's a very distinct possibility as well that you were saying earlier, like certain people in the media are, maybe getting kickbacks or whatever, or they're gonna get fed by Yücel or whatever. It's also a very distinct possibility that they are very deliberately trying to create a feeling among the fans that the only way forward is with Yücel because he has the money and the money is important. and it's very possible that this whole money thing is being blown way out of proportion because there's a very big sentiment among the fans right now that are angry at Yücel because they perceive this as a usurpation. So it's also very possible that there's people trying to create a narrative of, well, but without Yücel the club is fucked. Maybe it isn't as bad as they're making it out to be. Because why are we only hearing these problems in the last couple of days? I have said this before. If there's money issues, you hear it from all over the place. If players aren't getting paid, it's like a leaky dam. It starts spouting, the news starts spouting out all the cracks until the dam bursts. But those cracks and those leaks are there for a good while to see for everyone. And that's only now it's like the dam burst without any cracks. I find that very weird. Every single time, again, 25 years, every single time that there's been money payment issues, that's always been preceded by a lot of news coming out and rumblings and all that kind of stuff. It's never this quiet before, like, the bomb bursts. That is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat.
Certainly, there's a lot of I mean, I think we're basically gonna have to all wait and see what happens because there's too many weird
we have a
sources
banker
of information.
As a CFO, guys. We have a banker as a chief financial officer, and our budgets were approved by UEFA and by the Turkish Football Federation, and suddenly we can't pay our wages at all, and we need a guy to pay our wages, like our entire wage bill constantly. That doesn't make sense.
We certainly made some transfers that we probably couldn't afford.
Yeah, but
without
but
you, Chip.
even if you take even if we can't pay those wages, it does not. That doesn't make, like, let's say we have 25 million we can pay, and with the wages that he added, we have 35 million. So there's like a 10 million deficit. Why is that 25 million not getting paid all of a sudden? That should still be getting paid. But what the report is that the team didn't get paid at all. So what is it? Like, oh, we can't pay everyone, so we don't pay anyone?
Apparently, since, according to Yaz Savunjolo, who's saying Yücel's put 60 million euros into the Beşiktaş's cash register. That's not like a gift. That's just for, he's going to take that back later. But basically, just to help pay things off just now, he's put in 60 million euros. That's Savunjolo saying that. He's one of the big sources.
Why is he having to put in 60 million euros?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, like, Karen Shackles had a lot of bad news about him come out anyway. But like, you really need to question, like, the banker signing off on all this shit if you're needing one of the board members to put in 60 million euros into the cash register.
60 million euros.
Yeah, it's crazy. That means that guy's not doing his job, if that's true.
If that is true, that means that Yücel has paid the entire wage bill already for the season, and maybe last season. He's paid off Rebic. He's paid off every player we've paid to fuck off. So has he been paying for everything? That makes, I mean, that's ridiculous. If that's true, I mean, that doesn't.
Something like, let's be clear. Something is not adding up. With all of these stories.
What does Beşiktaş have zero income? Does Beşiktaş?
That's why I've been so suspicious of Yücel for a while, because all the news that's been pumped out, whether it's to Buretoslo or more recently to the more mainstream media, it's all painting him in a good light and others in a bad light. Mm-hmm. That's why it tells me I've had this thought for a long time that it's him that's been putting out all this news, because all of it paints him in a good light. Apart from the fact that he withheld payments from last month, some people have reported. Not everyone's reported that. That's been more Twitter talk.
Because look, here's the other thing: if, like,
he's putting the news out clearly, that's why all the news is painting him in a good light and as the saviour. Because it's him.
And why is he willing to give these 60 million euro if it's like Kanchakul's fault,
It's
or
not-
if somebody else has like done such a poor job of financial mismanagement that he has to give 60 million euros, why wouldn't he have addressed that before giving something's not quite adding up here.
But 60 million euros, that goes way beyond
above and beyond
Chiro and Rafa's contract. That goes way beyond.
It goes above and beyond everyone. Like, what is that? Did he also build the roof to the stadium? Like,
60 million euros. That's not just a donation to the club. That's money he's going to get back later on.
Yeah, would you donate 60 million euros?
No, yeah.
I mean,
it's not.
But like,
that's what I'm saying. It's like basically, it's like it's a loan with no interest. Essentially, that's what that is.
Let's say he has a net worth of 600 million, which is fucking rich.
Yeah.
That's 10% of his total money, then, huh? Would you just donate that?
Of course you don't. That's why he's not donated it.
Do you think Ali Koch donates all that money? That's all that's all written down.
Yeah.
If he that's why do you think Ali Koch has been president for Fenerbahce for all these years without winning a title? Because they know if he leaves, piece of paper comes out, and the club's fucked. Okay.
Comments.
That's what
Let's
just
do
makes
this.
it so fishy about Yücel, man. Like, all this news is painting him in a positive light. Kanchakul's always painted in a bad light, which, if this is true, man, like, he's done a fucking terrible job, which is fair enough. But I just find it quite convenient that everything is painting him in a good light and is a saviour.
Oh, I have no doubt that Yücel is.
He's definitely bought some media members.
Like that is clear. That much is clear. But then on the other end, this entire who narrative, that's also there, and that's also being put out there, and that paints him in a very bad light.
I think what we can say though is, like, I definitely think that what is suspected and basically fact almost, because we've seen the mark on the president, or the former president, now his neck. Hopefully he makes a full recovery. I definitely think there's been ego wars and a fight for power.
Oh, 100%.
Especially between Shackle and Yücel.
Yeah.
There's been a struggle
We've
between
been
those
hearing
two.
that for months, though. That those two have been butting heads behind the scenes. Like, that's not a secret, right? Like, we've known that. I think we haven't known it as a fact, but everyone's known.
They've used the president's poor health as an opportunity.
You could frame it like that, or you could say during the absence of the president, there wasn't any clear line in who is making the decisions, and that's why they. I don't know. You can say that they used it as an opportunity, but do you really think this is what Yücel wanted? To take the club over in this scenario?
I think he wants to be president.
Yes, but don't you think it would be much better for him to become president of the club under good circumstances? Like, now he's in a very, very difficult situation. He's with his.
I don't know.
He's
painted as a saviour.
Yeah, but Kartal, he's painted as a savior. But if he doesn't improve things drastically, then his ambition to be president is over forever.
I think his ego thinks he will improve it drastically.
Yeah, maybe.
If that
Probably thinks his money can solve a lot of problems
as well. Like, he's not going to become president that way either.
Ooh,
at least. See if we done well under Hassan Arat. Would Hassan Arat be the next and Hassan Arat, if he never got ill, or that's what we suspect, obviously.
Then Yücel would become president in 2028.
Possibly. But maybe it doesn't
almost certainly. If this board would be successful and win championships, and Yücel is known as the big financier of that success, and in 2028, if Hassan Arat steps aside, Yücel is the heir apparent.
Yeah, maybe he's not patient and he wants it just now.
Maybe,
that could
maybe,
be
but he is sabotaging himself then. Because
guys, let's not deal in maybes, because we're bound to get some answers soon.
I feel like we'll never know the full truth.
Probably, that's probably true. Ozkan says, sorry, some weird phone issues, but most of my comments thought came from my rage yesterday. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh.
No, I
But
understand.
yeah, I just need a week. I think he's talking about Cheeto, the Cheeto stuff,
I
right?
get that.
We're all going through it.
And I am I very much I am very I don't want Chiro to be a bust. I really hope that we can, because I think he is a really good spokesperson for the club. I think he is a good marketing figure. I don't think he's done either. I don't see a player that's completely over the hill. I think he can do something. So I don't want him to be bad,
help.
but I mean,
he needs a little support.
yeah, he needs, you know. Like, I think Dzeko, if you take away the players around him, you know, would be in a similar situation. I think Chiro is still in a better place than Dzeko is at 38, 39, but I think right now we are expecting things from Chiro that he's not going to be able to bring, and I don't even think he probably ever was able to bring that. I mean, he's not Abubakar, he's not that type of a player. He needs to be fed.
All right, you ready for this one, Con? You're not gonna like it. Grey Wolf says, might as well stay with Gio for financial reasons and start looking for a good coach now. How many coaches did we fire and are still paying for now?
So
we need a German coach.
So we need.
Yeah, that's a mixed message. You said stick with Gio, then he said we need a German coach.
So if Gio leaves, his clause is 2.5 million for it to buy him out to fire him. I'll ask you this: if Gio stays, how many home games do we have left in the season? Like
probably
like
a quarter of the whole season,
like
right?
17, 18 home games.
Yeah,
how many people are gonna pay tickets to come and watch Gio's team? How much money do you stand to lose by ticket sales, matchday merchandise sales, matchday food and drinks? Do you think that we're gonna save money in the end if Gio stays? Because I think we're gonna be looking at a pretty empty stadium really soon.
That might be true regardless, though, Con. I mean...
No, I think if Sergen comes in, at least in the beginning, you'll have an effect where a lot of people will turn up. And maybe, I mean, look, if we lose the Fener derby, which is a distinct possibility, and if we continue to be shit, then we'll probably see half-empty stadiums. But I think if Gio stays, then they're looking at almost completely empty stadiums, I think.
Unless he was to severely, drastically turn it around.
Exactly.
Unless...
Yes. If he turns things around, of course, then.
Umer says, the fans don't deserve a good coach. Let them sit with Serdar Topraktepe and the academy kids for 2 years. We need to recover financially and they can continue posting their Talishka edits.
Who needs to sit with the kids?
He said, the fans don't deserve a good coach. Let them sit with Serdar Topraktepe and the academy kids for 2 years. We need to recover financially. They can continue posting their Talishka edits.
I don't think. I think if you sit still, you regress even more. I don't think you.
I don't see us moving. I don't think we have the capacity to move forward with a good coach. So,
you could do another Feta season, but I don't know what. I think we were in a better position than we are now, because I've said this before. I think when we went into the Feta season, we had a better skeleton and we had a much better, more balanced squad. Like,
yeah, that's the issue, man. Like, I think you might not be able to build a team that's going to win the league in one window, but I think you can get a balanced team in one window if you just cut back the spending.
If there's players available, but I don't see them.
But you're not a scout, Ken.
No,
that's not.
No, I'm not. But like, I feel like back then in like 2012, there were like players in the league that you could be like, oh yeah, we could get that guy, we can get that guy, and can get that guy. I don't see players like that right now, honestly. Like,
and that goes back to my point about if we had a proper sporting director like a Devin Uzik, who allegedly according to some sources, was actually willing to come. Which I think is quite a reliable source these days.
Yeah, but you're so limited by the fact that you need to have at least 14 Turks in your squad, and
I think if he was actually given the full reins and didn't go for the flashy signings, he at least could have, at the end of the window, could have left us with a balanced team at least.
Yeah, maybe if you take the money you spend on Rafa and you spend that on 3 players, but the problem with that is that we still were limited to bringing in that many foreigners. You know, we had to get rid of Rebic, we had to get rid of this guy, we had to get rid of that guy before we had to get rid of Muleka, we had to get rid of all these foreigners before we could bring any in, and at the end of the day we're at the limit. And we're still stuck with Ox and Onana and Masuaku, and yeah, I don't know. Like maybe if Devin came in, Gio would have still said, "No, I want to keep Onana. It can be useful." And then you're.
Or maybe if really what should happen is Devin Uzek should come in first.
Yeah, and then he appoints the coach.
He appoints the coach. And he decides, look, we're going to play this style of football. He speaks with the board. What style of football do you want? The board say, I want like high energy.
But he was apparently. I mean, he was going to come in with Nouri, right? That's the big.
I don't think that's a sure thing, man. Like there was talks of that, but I don't know if that's a sure thing.
Yeah, but
if he gets to pick his coach,
sure.
Based off
maybe we would have gotten a good German coach.
Yeah, and I think maybe with less flash, but we could have a balanced squad.
I mean, look at Thomas Reis, what he's doing with Samsunspor, with very limited material there, transfer bans and stuff. And I mean, like they haven't been able to bring in much at all, if anything. So, yeah.
So we have Grey Wolf. The problem, I think, is the boards in general are more interested in scamming the club than running the club, probably, and have their club.
That's just we need this club to be sold, man.
I don't understand.
Yeah, so there's a comment about that.
I don't really understand how they benefit from it, other than, of course, stealing money from the club if they can line their pockets. But like, you know, like it's been said in the past, like people use it to get famous. Like, I mean, you get like notoriety, but like you get known for being a scumbag. Is that a good thing? I don't know.
Some people seem to want to be known as scumbags. Yeah. The way they're acting. Yeah. Next up, we have Grey Wolf. If we're gonna bring a Turkish coach, then be bold and take a chance. Bring in a young coach. We got nothing to lose. We should also use more young players until we recover financially.
But you're setting up that coach for failure then.
Yeah. At this point, club financials and a slow rebuild are more important. In the future, we need to have a performance class in the coach's contract, clause, in the coach's contract.
Yeah.
If they don't meet a certain record, then the club is able to cancel the contract without penalty.
Yeah, but you can put that in maybe with a Turkish coach, but like, not even Real Madrid can put that in their contracts, man. Like that's wishful thinking. Like nobody signs that. They just don't. Like you can forget about signing any foreigner because they're not gonna sign that. And maybe Turks will, but like quite honestly, I don't think they will. Like look at Çağdaş. Like when we were being linked with him, like there was like talk of no, Beşiktaş aren't gonna let him go and he doesn't want to leave. It's like Beşiktaş are right now we're like I don't know, man. Like I don't think people want to come. Like the only people that want to come are like not the people you want.
Yeah.
That's a depressing reality, I think.
Yeah, I think Sergio Constantin would be a fucking great hire, man.
Beggars can't be choosers, and I think when you're in a position like we're in, you can't put clauses like that in contracts because people are just not gonna sign it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Emre Hasturk says reset the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
He said ant lovers to the rescue. What does that mean?
I don't know. Oh, ant fuckers maybe? I don't know.
Ant lovers to the rescue. Anyway,
Ant
Umer
fuckers,
says,
because I called Özcan an ant fucker once.
I think that's what I meant. Umer says, if he organized a coup, you think he left out the minor detail of a possible early election? I'm not saying it's 100% that, but like, how does an early election avoidance prove that there's nothing going wrong there? Emre says, Sinan getting bigger, speaking about Beşiktaş. Because I just shrank! I literally said that and I shrank again. What the fuck?
Because if Hasan Arat had resigned 2 days ago, the club would go to an early election and Hüseyin Yücel would not be getting his chance. And Hasan Arat very deliberately and calculatedly resigned from his position as chairman of the football branch 2 days ago. And then today, right after the cutoff period, resigned as the president to assure that Yücel can become president. So he has put Yücel in that seat. Otherwise, the supervisory board, headed by Tevfik Yamantürk, could call for an early election, and now they can't, as long as the board of directors stays whole. So that's also why Onur Göçmez, why Arat refused Onur Göçmez's resignation, and that's why also Zeybek İşil is back in the fold, because if they lose too many board members, then we are going to an extraordinary Congress. Because of it being less than 6 months before the new elections. I can send you the link later if you want to the bylaws. It's in Turkish though, but like our good friend Carlito, the Dutch Eagle, he dove into them earlier and he looked it up. And I'm sorry, but Hasan Arat has 100% put Yücel in this position to be the president. And if this was a hostile takeover, why would he do that?
I've given an explanation.
Yeah, but come on, Kartal. If you just got absolutely fucked over by a guy, you're not gonna give him exactly what he wants.
Even if it's what's maybe better for the club in the short term.
Do you think he would see it as better for the club in the short term?
If we're in a financial
if he
hole,
did what he did, if he did what you think he did, like why would he? That's like the poison you want to get out of the club. Then.
I mean, if there's no way we can pay these wages without him, then you don't have much choice, do you? Or else your club's going to get fucking.
Yeah, but then you royally fucked up. I think if this 60 million thing is true, then Hasan Arat fucked up incredibly.
Guys, we can't keep arguing this for 3 hours though, man. Like we just don't know.
No.
We don't know.
I think some people really, really, really want their narrative to be right, but like there's just too many holes in that theory. I think. Maybe I want to see it like that, but like I think
everyone's kind of doing that.
It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense to me.
We just don't know.
Like
there's holes as well, but we'll never really. Well, we might find out, but we don't know for sure just now. But there's also a lot of evidence that points towards that being the case. I mean,
it also like it almost doesn't matter in that like no matter who is doing what, everyone is doing something bad. Everyone is buying media members, leaking stories, undermining people's careers, like tanking the project that Hasan Arat built. Like everyone is playing their role in that. I think
he tanked that himself though, Sinan, by taking on people that clearly aren't like he had a vision and he very clearly like his entire board.
That was his naivete. His naivete is what.
I don't know if that's naivete. I think that's maybe arrogance.
Well, like look, trusting someone who you shouldn't trust is naivete.
Maybe these people were telling him everything he wanted to hear.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. And that's why it's naive, because he should have been like, you're saying that now.
He's a 60-odd-year-old man. He has so much life experience. He should know better than that. And I honestly think he thought he could manage it. And then he got sick. And then he couldn't.
And he couldn't anymore.
And maybe if he never gets sick, it would have been a different story.
Maybe. But
I hope so,
But
honestly.
we have been hearing these things for a while now. Of course, supposedly he has been ill for a while as well. But like, I mean, I feel like this board, right from the get-go, like there were already like these really bad signs. Like this whole thing with the Bülent Uslu not shaking Zeybek's hand thing, and then her taking it to Twitter, and then Kaan Şakul having a public spat with Serjan Dikmen, things like that. Like those are bad signs, man. Like that's not professional behavior.
The Cadro Dishy shit last year.
The Cadro Dishy shit was handled very, very poorly. Like from the very start, like there was just too much. And then the Santos appointment was terrible, and like they've been making mistake after mistake after mistake and public poo. Like you know, like just yeah, it just hasn't worked since the beginning. Like it's been a very difficult. Coming pregnancy or whatever. I don't know how I should put it. It's just been. I feel like it's been full of, riddled with issues since the very beginning. It's never been good. He hasn't had a full grip on the situation at all since the beginning. I think he just did a really, really bad job at assembling his team. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think there's a lot of.
I think Hassan Arat is a fantastic. Like he is what I would want my president to be, but
in terms of the way he presents himself, the way he speaks, like
it's his man management skills that are lacking.
It had no charisma. Was a bad talker.
If he was a billionaire and he would just buy Beşiktaş and he would do whatever the fuck he wanted to do, I would be 100% for that. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Like that's the ideal world, is someone like Arat with a vision and the money, and he can just do his thing, and he doesn't have to play the political games to, you know, get this person on board and that person on board, and he doesn't rely on somebody else's money. But the sad thing is that's not how it was, and I think it was doomed to fail from in Captain Hindsight. Was doomed to fail from the beginning, it looks like.
Yeah, obviously we didn't know that these people were like this. In fact, last year during the build up to the election, everyone thought, "Oh, this is a great team." It seems like it's bringing people that are experts in their own
and that
field.
is our naivete, right?
Kaan Şakul being a banker, being brought in to look after the finances. You had one of the top textile guys in Turkey being brought in to deal with the cartel USA, and he's actually done a really good job, I think.
Maybe I just buy the official Adidas stuff anyway, and I don't really buy the other stuff, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I bought a lot of jerseys this year.
It's the other stuff the club makes the 100% money off of, man. Because there's no Adidas.
I know. But I don't like the I've bought a couple of things over the years, and I never like it. The quality is always kind of like I bought like this vest, and it like started unraveling and shit. I was like, never buying that shit again. Sorry, just the quality isn't there. I rather just put my money in the Adidas stuff. It's just better. I'm sorry. Like I have a Feta shirt from like over 10 years ago now, and it's like, yeah.
The print came off.
No, the print's still fine, but like the fabric quality just kind of feels a little flimsy, and
well, man, that t-shirt cost like 30 Turkish lira.
It did, yeah. It was very cheap. Yeah. Like, I mean, back then 30 Turkish lira, of course, was 10 euros or something. Actually, so 12 or 13 euros, I think. Actually,
it was about £12, man. I mean, it's not that cheap actually. When you think about it. Because it was like in 2012, it's like 2.5.
1 euro was 2.5 lira back then.
I think the euro might have even been a wee bit lower, because £1 was 2.5 lira. So
when I went to the Beşiktaş against Ordu game in like April, I want to say, with Kim, or May. It was May, because it was the 1-2 last home game. The last one was against Gençlerbirliği. That was the 1-2 last home game in Inönü. It was 2.5. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah.
Get back to the comments, Sinan.
So Emre Hasdork says, if they had started the season with Feta 2.0, fans would have been okay. I doubt it, honestly, because we have a kind of weird fan base, but
I don't know.
I wish that were true. Umer Gunal says, honestly, the whole season would have been different if they had paid the salaries, and instead of João Mario and Endur, we got 2 wingers that can actually help us. We were stuck with Ox 2. We could have integrated him. I mean, honestly, it's sort of weird we have it, because
if we would have gotten a really good winger instead of Mario, and we would have gotten like a second striker instead of Endur or something, or a left back. Oh my god, imagine. Or if we just sold Masuaku and got a decent left back because apparently Pauk wanted him or something. Like if we would have just
or Olympiacos maybe.
I think it was Pauk. It doesn't matter. If we would have just let him go, but I believe it was really late in the window that those bastards came. Like, super late.
I understood it.
Yeah,
I understood it. Yeah.
I mean,
probably they wanted to fuck us in the Europa League.
One winger, one left back, and maybe like a backup striker. We could have been in a very different position right now, for sure.
Yep.
But again, like they fucked. Like I think we had a relatively good transfer window. Don't get me wrong, but like we fucked up like 3 moves, and we weren't able to fuck those up. We didn't have the luxury. Like normally, if you do 10 transfers and 7 out of them work out, then you have done a good job, or 6 or 7.
Our margin for error was infinitesimal.
We had like
tiny.
We had no margin for error.
You can say we had a good window, but when you look at the results, really we failed.
Yeah,
because we're in the same spot.
I think,
in fact, worse than we were last year.
You can afford a Jankelesh. That you can afford that, like to fuck that up. But with the foreigners, with the limit, if you have a foreign limit, you can't afford to fuck up the foreigners. I think, and like I think we all like Endur, but like,
we do.
Onana had to go. If you bring in Endur, Onana needs to go. And if you João Mario,
Onana's been a complete waste man since.
And João Mario just wasn't the right fit. I mean, I stand by what I said, that he's a good football player, but he's also a football player that's on a very low confidence level. Is coming off of a really bad period in his career, and his confidence is super low. And it was just a wrong guy to bring in. Like,
well, I mean, don't sign fucking Endur, even though I like him, and just keep Demi Rege, man.
Nah.
But he's doing
solid.
He started 3 games, man. Come on.
I've read that he's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing well, but he's played 3 games. He started in 3 games. He's played 7. Maybe he's started in 4 now and played 8. But like, come on. We know Demi Rege from last season. We've seen him in the preseason as well.
I think, bar his mobility issues, he's technically a good footballer.
Yeah, he is, but he's not good. He's not better than Endur. He's not even as good as Endur.
No, he's not even close to Endur, I would say. Guys, real quick, so this will add a little levity here. Emre Hasturk says, Fatih Terim is the answer. And then Umer Gunal says, Emre, is the question, what is an asshole?
Demir Ege, to come back to that, I think Demir Ege is doing what he's supposed to be doing for his career. He needed this season away on a loan. If you would have kept him, you're just fucking that kid. Like I don't think there's in any circumstance the answer is we should have kept him. I don't think so. I think Demir Ege sending him out on loan was 100% the right choice. I will die on that hill.
I actually think Sharon Endur is fine, but the answer is get rid of Onana.
Onana.
Then you can,
but I mean, if it's true that Gio wanted to keep him, that's just ridiculous.
That's a shame.
Like, I mean, Gio. I mean, I don't know if that's true, because I think Turkish media really loves to blame the coach for mistakes that the board makes. But Onana should have 100% been sent away. Ox is a difficult situation. I mean, do you want to add another 6.5 million on top of that 60 million we already owe Yücel? Yeah. I mean, he's gonna fuck him off now in January anyway, though. Like, he's gonna do it now anyway. So we should have probably done it in the summer or whatever.
You're not gonna like this one, Khan. Ozkan Zerzavachi. Honestly, stick with Gio. Give him the season. What's the point in changing? Sometimes a manager needs to ride the storm to understand the problems. More so, we have institutionally in our core.
Yeah.
We have problems institutionally.
The point is my sanity, Özkan. My sanity. I cannot handle another match like yesterday, that was I wanna blow my brains out with my.
Umer says he got his money with your alien gun.
My Nerf shotgun.
Uzkan Zezavachi says, honestly, sorry, I did that. Umer Gunal said he got his money after opening a case. Haha, that's not how it should be. He's talking about
suitcase?
The Spanish defender, I think he's talking about.
Oh, Victor Ruiz.
Ruiz, yeah.
To be honest, I very much frown upon not paying players, but if a player...
That was a bad one, though. Victor Ruiz
the way Victor Ruiz left during COVID, because he wasn't getting paid, I wouldn't have paid him either, man. And I would have genuinely expected FIFA and CAS to side with me, because I think that was like how
extraordinary.
Yeah, that was, how do they call that in America when like a hurricane fucks your house up?
Act of God.
Yeah, an act of God. I think that was an act of God situation. Like, even Juventus and like the biggest clubs in Europe weren't paying their players. You didn't hear them tearing up their contract. So I really think that Victor Ruiz was an absolute a-hole, man, to tear up his contract there.
Speaking of a-holes, Cartel, you've inserted the word cunt into my vocabulary, and I just used it, and it just sounds so terrible in an American accent. I don't know, like I can't do that.
Cartel do
Thanks,
that?
Cartel. He's the one who's normalized it for me. Now I'm trying to simulate it, and it doesn't
like
go well.
It's
a disaster.
It's a very Glaswegian thing.
Fucking
Yeah,
cunt.
it just doesn't sound right out of my mouth. Like when you say it, it's like artful. It's an artful phrase, but when I say it,
see that
sounds
cunt?
dirty.
He's a good cunt. That means you're a good guy.
Yeah, see, and if I say it, it just sounds like I'm just saying something.
The way Kettle says it
despicable.
sometimes is like, he's a cunt, man. I can't.
The cunt man.
I can't do his accent, but
I can't do it either.
You can say that as like, oh, he's a good cunt, as in that he's a good person. Or if you just say he's a cunt, if you just call someone a cunt, that's a
you can
bad
also say
person.
he's a right cunt.
He's alright, cunt, mate.
It's
Mate, that's not got an Australian with it.
It's
Matey, with a shrimp on the barbie. Okay, let's stop it.
It's an overused word in Glasgow, man. Like, my mum hates it. She hates it, man.
Does she
like,
hate cunts?
The word, yeah, she hates it, man.
The
Like,
word.
see if she hears me say that, she goes mental, man.
A friend of mine is my good friend that I told you about, who sadly passed away a few years ago. He used to always say Americans are not allowed to say cunt.
It's true. Because I said it sounded terrible. I feel bad. I feel guilty. Anyway, Emina says some people call Masuaku a cow man, not man. Okay, I'll leave that one.
Yeah,
Umer.
I've trademarked that.
Yeah. Umer says there's a crazy thing we could do, which is not give contracts we can't actually pay on time. I know it's mental to even consider it, but maybe we should try it once. And then he says Cartel makes a good
You're
point.
A funny man.
I don't know.
That's not the Turkish
I don't know what
way.
he means by Cartel makes a good point, but he's made a few, so I'll grant him he's probably right. Özkan says, Sinan loving the attempt to keep it going with the next comment. Yeah, it's been a struggle. And it's because, like, I feel like we could probably stew in this negativity for a long time, because I think we're all in it.
If we really wanted to, man, I think we could probably talk about this all night, man. We could sit till
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a 24-hour live stream.
Yeah. Maybe we could break a record here. Trippy Galen says, "Hey guys, honestly, everything happening recently is becoming a case study." This was in relation to a comment that I wanted to mention this earlier. He says, "It's a case study in favor of private ownership of clubs, no matter how much I hate it."
Yeah.
And look, man, I've always waxed poetic about the how democratic Turkish clubs are, and not just Turkey, right? There's a number of countries, I think, where that's the case.
Spain, yeah.
And I feel like maybe in other countries it works better. But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing that we can theoretically kind of own our club in a democratic way and join the Congress and vote and be active and whatever. But it's not so beautiful when that group that is supposed to be kind of like opened up and, you know, it's supposed to represent something democratic, when it becomes something less than that, right? Because then it becomes a tool for autocracy, ironically. And I think, you remember when Fikret Orman like shut down? You couldn't register to become a member of Congress, right? Like certain people have learned how to game access to that Congress in order to sort of keep things weighted in their favor. Clearly, this system has kind of outlived its. There was a time and a place, perhaps, where this could be run justly and well, and it could be kind of every ideal that we would hope that it would sort of, manifest. But we're not there anymore. Society is not there at present somehow. It just genuinely feels like
maybe the German
giving the public access to our club.
Maybe the German model is something that we should consider.
Sort of like a stakeholder model.
I believe in the German model, the club is owned by 51% by the fans and 49% by outside whatever. But those 49%, they get a mandate from the fans to have like final say and stuff. And then you do eliminate the whole political thing, and you do have an ownership model, but fans still retain a form of power.
A stake.
Yeah, a stake. I think that's
that
probably the most realistic thing. But I mean, that way you can kind of control your future a little bit at least. Because otherwise, you get situations like where Cardiff, when a guy comes in, buys the club, changes the club logo, changes the club colors. Like, can you imagine? Like somebody buy Beşiktash and suddenly we're playing in orange.
We're like a green and orange,
green
like
and orange, or something, or like God forbid,
owners and
red and yellow or something.
If we were to be sold, the hope the owners would be good.
Yeah, the hope.
Maybe James Dolan can buy.
I think
James Dolan will buy them. We'll go orange and blue.
There's so many examples of clubs. Look at Valencia right now. There's so many examples of clubs who really hoped. Were hoping that exact same thing, and turned out very decepted, or how should it was a huge deception for them. Look at Manchester United, man. Look at Manchester United.
Yeah.
Look at Chelsea at the moment with Burley. Look at, it's going better now, but like there's too many examples of clubs that got sold and who are in the shitter.
Or even look at like PSG and how they had all these ambitions. They actually haven't really won shit.
They won.
They never got that
that's not
Champions
true. They
League.
won every.
I mean, they won in France.
They hadn't won anything in France before though, or like won.
I feel like with proper ownership, they could have taken all that money and talent and turned it into sort of a dynasty. But
Sinan, I think every Beşiktaş fan would sign for what happened at PSG. Because that would mean like 7 out of the last 10 titles go in your museum, and maybe you failed to win the Champions League, but like you'd be dominating.
I mean, no, for us, but the Champions League for us was. I mean, I think for PSG that became a kind of like for them an inevitability. Ryan Reynolds, that's who I want. I'm with
Sinan, do you not think?
Give me Deadpool.
Do you not think that if you would have told all those PSG fans who had no success in their lifetime, if you would have told them, okay, this guy's gonna come in to buy the club, you're gonna win 70% out of the championship domestically in the next 20 years, but you're gonna win fuck all in Europe, do you not think they would all sign that on the dotted line?
I can't speak for them, but look, remember, man, I even just told you how I stopped liking baseball because my team became that kind of, for me personally, I'm not interested.
Yeah, but would you? If you
doing it the wrong way?
If you did it, is the way PSG did it the wrong way? I mean, they just cornered the market. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't like it.
But, sort of becoming a base for
like Göztepe, but just on a larger scale. That's what I want.
Yeah, I'm much more interested in the Göztepe type of project, rather than like a foreign government like buying propaganda.
But Göztepe on a larger scale, Katal, you're still gonna be like club number 3 in that pyramid, at best. Do you want to be?
Obviously, if I'd want to be club number 1.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen. Who's gonna do that in Turkey? Turkey is not a good.
We gotta build our own network.
Turkey isn't a good market. They all want England. They prefer a championship club over Galatasaray, Fenerbahçe, Beşiktaş. Trust me. Because there's more money in there. They just need to promote to the Champions League, to the Premier League once, and they make their money back almost. Like they get like 200 million pounds or something for just getting up there, and then if they go back down the next season, they get a parachute payment of 93 million pounds. Like, why would anyone in their right mind decide
make Turkey their focal point?
Exactly. Like buying Göztepe is fine because you can use it as club number 3, 4, 5 in your pyramid, but like they're not. I don't see it happening. I mean, I if it could happen, I would 100% be up for that, Gafta. But I don't believe it. It will. I don't believe in that.
Look, the only way it would happen is if the billionaire who was like starting this whole project was a huge Beşiktaş fan somehow, right? Like that's the only way.
Maybe our new Patreon member Nathan Davis is a billionaire in the US. Maybe Nathan can buy Beşiktaş.
That's Hey Nathan. Heads up.
Hey,
by the way,
Beşiktaş billionaires watching this?
Yeah, exactly. There's some good comments here. Hold on. Ray Wolf said maybe get the Samson coach. I think. Sorry, I skipped someone. Umer, without doing this, how was Yücel ever going to? Whatever. Okay. M Sarper. Hello Eagles. Hello M Sarper. Grey Wolf. Maybe get the Samson coach. We all.
He's good.
Thomas Reis.
He's good, but
yeah, I'd take him.
But I would feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, but
Emily Hasturk, Edin Terzic, come to Beşiktaş.
Yeah.
I don't think that works.
But that's the football we don't want, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's putting them into the chaos as well.
Yeah, and it's
Grey
not,
Wolf follows that with. Sorry, go ahead.
Don't you think that the next if we bring in the foreign coach, like the next foreign coach we bring in, shouldn't that be a coach that's known for attacking football, like really known for it?
Definitely.
We've tried and failed 3 times now with a foreign coach because it's just not like I think if you play attacking football, you're not gonna lose the fans like this. Like I think Beşiktaş fans are so starved for just seeing some good football. Even if you don't win prizes, if you finish third but you play well, I think they'll be very disappointed. And after a year or two, look at Bilic. Fans were okay with Bilic because under Bilic at least we played some okay football. It wasn't always great, but it was definitely good enough, and fans were patient with that but I don't think fans are gonna be patient with a pragmatic coach. And Gio once again. I mean, like I don't think he's super pragmatic, but I think he's not brave. I think you need bravery. I think you need bravado.
I think with Bilic, he was never out the race in November as well. That second season,
yeah,
we were, with 5 games left, we were first.
Mm-hmm.
So close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we imploded, and then the fans lost their patience with him. But at least we got 2 years out of him. I would.
To be honest, I think he wanted to leave.
Yeah, he wanted to leave. Yeah, he wanted to go to West Ham.
Grey Wolf says, "Come on, Ryan Reynolds, buy us. Maybe Hugh Jackman. Maybe we can get Wolverine instead of Deadpool."
Question: M. Sarper. You don't have to answer this if you don't want, but that M for what does that stand? Because I always think it's like Mustafa or something, and I feel and I feel like if we would know, we just call you that, like Mustafa or Mehmet or whatever. Because every time
Michael
Zidane has to say M. Sarper, it sounds so weird. You don't have
Michael
to tell
Sarper.
us if you don't.
Maybe he's half. He's a half and half, like a.
Maybe he's Mike Sarper.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, I did Michael.
We're gonna call him Michael.
Marcus. Okay, Marcus Sarper. Trippy Galen. I like that.
Yeah,
name.
new name, man. Trippy Galen. I don't think we've seen that one before. But don't forget to subscribe, man, and thank you for joining us.
Like, follow, and subscribe. Yeah, I feel like he's been here once or twice.
Might have been. Seems very.
He says that this is actually probably a low-key great point. He says to have a working democracy in your club, your country has to have a functioning democracy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why the club democracy is not working right now.
That could definitely help, for sure. And also, if the country wasn't so politically fractured or whatever you want to call it, maybe there would be a level playing field, and maybe you could actually build something. But That seems impossible.
Yeah. Emre asks, I'm guessing a rhetorical question that Kartal will certainly say no to. Would you be okay with joining the City Group and renamed as Beşiktaş City with a logo change?
I'd be okay joining the City Group because of the Girona thing, but no, I would not accept a logo change or a name change. But I think even if that was to happen, that wouldn't be the case because they didn't change Girona to Girona City. I don't know about the logo, but no, of course I wouldn't accept that.
No, they don't do that. Like Lommel United is part of the City Group, and they haven't gotten like a city slapped on their name. I think only the New York version got called that, but that's kind of logical.
Because they started it from scratch. Yeah. NYCFC.
Yeah.
So, but
makes sense
like I think they have like Yokohama F Marinos or something. They didn't change their name.
Aren't Başakşehir part of that group now? And they're not Başakşehir City either. But I think it's the question is mainly like, would you sell your soul if it would bring bring you like success?
And I'm sure Kartal wouldn't.
Like the club needs to stay the club and can't lose its identity. And the problem with selling is that it might, if it's sold to the wrong person, and you run that risk. Exactly. But what soul do we have right now anyway, right?
Yeah, I think we lost any soul, any DNA that we had before.
And it's sad that it's like the board, right? Like, I mean, the fans have played their part, but anyway, social media. So, Sarper says, you can just call me Sarper, bro. He says, my happy place is me being a billionaire and buying Beşiktaş. LOL. Yeah. Name. Ditto. Yeah. Terzic, Sarper continues, Terzic is still in touch with Olcay and follows the Turkish league. He can adapt to different play style than BD. He would be my first suggestion. B. Borussia Dortmund. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Terzic personally just now, he doesn't strike me as the type of character that would thrive in this kind of chaos.
His football was very much criticized at Dortmund, though, and even like Mats Hummels was like either this guy goes or I go. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, Hummels is a notoriously difficult player, but
yeah. What about this, man? At the end of the season, my manager's suggestion to the club is Kevin Muscat, the Shanghai Port manager.
I seem to not agree with that one, man.
Because he thinks he's too angry. That's why.
Too angry? Okay, I like that. We need an angry coach.
This guy in Japan and China has won the league titles with playing amazing attacking football. He was Ange Postecoglou's right hand man. I think you take a punt on a guy like that, man. Maybe you get your own Ange.
Yeah, that would be a lot more exciting than the names we're getting now. But do you really think that guy's gonna wanna fuck up his career by coming to Turkey? He'll probably go to Rangers or the Celtic or something, and then make the leap to the to the Premier League.
I mean, I'd really like to take a punt on a guy like that, but if he was to come, it would need to be with the right president, a director of football in place, making the right transfers for him, man. We couldn't have this shit that we had last summer where you get people try to make a name for themselves by paying $6 million for stars. As much as I love a Silva.
Yeah.
Someone with supreme confidence, who was also really good at analyzing situations, could theoretically see our club, recognize that like the project that was started was only started and that it's being derailed by short-term failure, and say straight up like, I'll join if you give me XYZ as far as players in January, knowing that really like in a sense the squad is much closer to being a formidable one than it was like when Gio signed up, for example, right? Or obviously when Fernando Santos joined. But like someone with that kind of ability to scout a situation and again supreme confidence and a bit of swagger could theoretically say, look, here's a very historic club with more resources than anyone else in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like in a vacuum, it shouldn't be so impossible. But of course, like if someone's looking at this in a very superficial way, it looks like garbage. Like the board is hemorrhaging. You know, all of it's.
I mean, for someone to get put off, his agent will go to him. Look, I'm just going to say, look, Sergio, as if it's Sergio Constancello, right? This club's changed manager like 10 times in the last 3 seasons, and then they're like, no, that's me done. I think most managers would react like that, because look at Man U. Like, they gave Ten Hag 2.5 years almost to get his shit together. You don't get that, Doc.
He didn't get his shit together though.
I mean, he actually was quite good the first year. They got in the Champions League.
Yeah, he was good the first year, and Gio was good the first 5 games, and then it went downhill, and he never got back up. Same thing with Ten Hag. Yeah, he won some cup last year, but like, yeah, can you imagine watching this for 2.5 years?
Yeah, I'm not saying like we should.
No, I know you're not saying that, but
I'm saying that, like, in world football, you're getting, like, I think coaches are actually starting to get more time than they used to. In general,
I think if you can see signs that
look at Arteta, man, that's a great example. Like, everyone thought he was fucking shit for like 2 years.
Ooh.
And then all of Arteta, and then they became a contender.
Yeah, but I'm sure that they knew behind closed doors, like they saw things and they knew, like, I think if you have a professional environment and you have the right people in place, like, they know, okay, if we give this guy time, he'll sort it out. Problem is, we don't have that.
We don't. We fucking need it.
I mean, you, me, Sinan, everyone's in the chat that I know of at least, we're just fans. Like, we should not be determining. Like, we have our opinions. I think Gio should go. You think Gio maybe should see out the season. Sinan is 50-50. I don't know. Like, we have our opinions, but we are not the people who make the decisions, nor should we. Like, the people who make the decisions should be professionals.
And they're going to know more than we do, right?
Yeah.
They're going to see how things are operating on a daily basis.
The problem is that we have people making decisions who are essentially fans with money.
They're agenda driven.
Yeah, and the sad thing about this is as well, I think all of us would make better decisions than a lot of the people making decisions.
You say that, but if you were a billionaire and you'd put your own hard-earned money in that club, maybe you'd be all like, "Oh, I want to have a say in this." Like, I don't think it's as easy as you think to just hand over the reins to a quote-unquote professional and have him spend your money. I don't.
Even if I didn't hand it over to a professional, I'd still think I'd make better moves than the people that are doing it just now.
You say that out of a perspective of a person who has who has a normal job, who has a mortgage, who, we aren't like you. Like, people who have money, they think they see the world differently than we do.
I just feel like a lot of the decisions that have been made I wouldn't have made, and I've said that at the time as well. It's not even fucking hindsight. Like, I wouldn't have brought Gio, I wouldn't have brought Santos either.
Yeah.
I would have brought a director of football.
I would really love to know who came up with that bright idea to bring Santos, and I would also really love to know, like, whose idea it was to bring Gio. To be fair, for Yücel, it's been reported for a long time that he was not in favor of Gio.
He wanted
Sergen. That's not much better, but I think supposedly he wanted Sergen last season when we brought in Santos. I really think that probably would have been much better, but I don't know where we would be now though. I think Sergen, short term is a fine solution. I think long term it's obviously not a good solution.
Or if I was making the decisions, and if I would have brought in a coach that plays attacking football, and instead of spending big money on big names, I would have tried to build a balanced team.
Yeah, no.
And this isn't hindsight. You boys know what I've been saying in the group for years.
That's true. It's true. I mean, you can definitely, if you look, you can find players for 3-4 million that are younger, and what's that kid that you were saying that Celtic got from the Swiss league, and like Kuhn?
Sure.
Yeah, like players like that. You can definitely bring them. I mean, it's not easy, I think, to get them to come to Turkey because those kids, I mean, going to Celtic is a big difference, but I think it's that. But if you have a track record, if you establish a track record that you give young players opportunities, that you like look at Club Brugge for example. Like I've been saying this, like they had their skeleton of experienced players that cost maybe a little bit more on higher wages and stuff like that, but then they bring in talents from Scandinavia and things like that, and they make a habit out of selling to the Premier League and things like that. And once you start building that up, players are gonna be more and more inclined to come. Like players right now, like that Kun guy for example, is not gonna be super tempted by an offer from Beşiktaş. But if you build that up and you build up a reputation over 2-3 years that you're a club you can come to, you can be put in you can be showcased, and then you can move on to a top 5 league, then you start getting into that place. But before you get there, you need stability and good planning. And
see, if I was doing the transfers, man, I would have signed a playmaking winger before anything else during the summer. That would be my move. And I think it's a scandal that they didn't sign one. Scandal.
Yeah.
Because Rebic and Gazelle were out the door.
Yeah.
That leaves you with fucking just Ashika.
Yeah.
That was like a main thing, and Ashika's not a playmaking winger either.
No, he's not.
So that the main thing we liked. So that would have been my first signing, and we didn't even sign one. And we left it, even when they were looking for one, they left it right till then.
Yeah.
Like, that's unacceptable, man. Like, there should be certain priorities.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rat's a brilliant football player. I love the guy. I even got his name on the back of my shirt. You know, historically, I've never got players' names in the back of my shirt. As much as I love him as a player, for me, the playmaking right wing was a priority, man.
Yeah.
And that should have been left to the end. That should have been the first thing.
No, yeah. That should have been. We should have brought it. That should have been the within the first month of the window. That should have been done. Rafa. I mean, if you're gonna bring in Chiro and Rafa, do it. But that winger should have been right alongside them. And then also, and also a left back.
Yeah, left back as well.
Very important.
We said Masuaku last year was unreliable. Me and you kind of agreed. Sinan at that point was more in favour of him staying. But we both said that we needed, maybe not replace him, but we needed someone else.
We needed someone to challenge him, is what I think we all, even Sinan, agreed with that.
I said we need someone who can theoretically take his position if he's lazy or whatnot. You know, someone to make him
work.
You know,
put him on his toes. Displace him, hopefully.
Yeah, I did.
But we don't have that, and
no. We don't have anything.
Yeah, let's finish these comments. It's getting late.
That's it. We're done.
It's getting late. Are we done?
Oh, except no. So Starper said, Sinan, sorry for butchering English. The way you're correcting my spelling and grammar mistakes sounds like my Hazard teacher, and in fact, I am an English teacher of sorts. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. I do that for everyone. It's not just you. Don't worry.
Semi-retired English teacher.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you know. I'm gonna make my billion so I can buy this freaking club. So I gotta do something. Yeah. Anyway, Grey Wolf finally says, so who's coming out for coach this Sunday? Which is a poignant question in that for all the conversation we have, we really have no idea.
I think so that.
Yeah, I think it's that as well. That's what I've heard. There's some rumblings now that no reliable sources, but there is some rumblings from kind of smaller Twitter pages that Gio, and we've parted ways with Gio, and it will be Sardar that's on the touchline on Monday.
It's definitely the most likely outcome.
Let's. I mean, I hope so, man. I don't want to see Sardar in charge for the Fener derby.
I hope whoever's coming in comes in before then for sure, or else it'll be fucking a disaster. I'll say that much. Like Sardar just doesn't. We saw last season, man. He's not ready. Not ready at all. The World Cup final was the only time we actually played good football, and even there, there's rumours that Sané.
We had a few good games. Don't forget that, like the Rize game and stuff like that, and like.
Oh right, man. It's come on. It was nothing to.
You also need to remember where we were coming from.
You mean the first time round?
Yeah.
No, that's fair. The second one, It's funny, like the second time his first game was against Yücel as well.
Oh, it's on Monday, the game? Oh.
Right, his first game was against the time, but his second game was decent. But yeah, the game.
Emre makes a good point that nobody's going to be coaching us on Sunday, actually, because our game's on Monday.
I said it's on Monday.
Monday. Ugh, I hate Monday games. Yeah. Shall we call it a day, gentlemen?
No.
Yeah, I'm just confirming. Yeah, Galatasaray that plays on Sunday. I'm against Eyüpspor, of course, so they're going to win
With
that.
half their squad suspended.
Yeah, perfectly
Oh,
timed.
who cares? I think we should stop paying attention to at the top of the table.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's focus on the middle and the lower regions. The way we're playing.
Look, my closing bit of negativity is that like I'm in a scenario now, both like with the president of the country I live in and the president of the club that I love, where you're hoping and praying that people who you don't expect to be good actors or particularly responsible, that they're gonna keep certain people in check.
Don't you have some morbid curiosity, Sinan, of what he's gonna do in January? Like maybe
a little, yeah. I mean, it's like these Trump appointments for his government. You know, you get like Dr. Oz and
Linda McMahon.
Like, what the hell is coming next? You know, how much worse can it get?
Yeah.
But there's certainly something fascinating in that process of sitting around and waiting and watching, I guess. It's depressing.
Linda McMahon's actually been in politics for a long time, by the way. Like, that's not surprising that she was part of the government.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You see some of the videos of her getting like pushed around on the ring, and it's like, I don't think you have a place in the House of Congress.
I mean,
but
that
whatever.
You'd be surprised. Like, I mean, it's like.
Well, Jesse Ventura was actually pretty good. He was a decent guy.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura was a good governor from Minnesota. And look at, I mean, I'm sure that people didn't think Arnold would be a good governor, but he was a great governor for Los Angeles, as far as I know.
But the governor is slightly more local form of government, though. They're not in the House of Congress. These government appointments that are happening now are like literally going to be running the government.
I've said this before, Sinan. If Arnold was the president of the United States, you would be in much better position right now.
That's not even a question, actually. He's a pretty like sober individual in these days.
You would tell Trump to put the cookie down and get to the chopper.
Oh man, it is what it is. The saddest thing is just that we are where we are, and that like things seemed like we were really on the right track for a minute.
Yeah.
Any closing comments, folks?
Always look on the bright side of life.
There we go. That's a good closing sentiment.
Let's try to
right.
look at it. Glass half full. Sadly, mine is empty.
Yes, mine is fully empty. There's not even potential for a bright spin. All right. Like, follow, and subscribe us, folks. It's we're still doing work here, even if you're less excited about it than you were previously. We are still all commiserating and doing group therapy sessions, so at least we provide that service to the community.
That's exactly what this is, group therapy sessions.
Oh yeah.
And don't forget to check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast. Check it out now. Do it.
Like, follow, subscribe, support. Noon here in New York City on Monday, Hatayspor against Beşiktaş. Stay tuned for our follow-up. Maybe we'll do a post-match on Monday or Tuesday. We'll keep you all posted. Stay tuned for that info. Besides that, let's go Beşiktaş!
Let's go!
Come on! It's time. Thank you so much, Özkan Dezavaci, for your enlightening comments and your financial support. Atilcan Malak, ditto. Paul O'Connor, we'd love to hear you in the comment section. I don't know if we've seen you there, but it's great that you support us nonetheless. Same for you, Nathan Davis, who we're secretly hoping is our soon-to-be financier. Dara Hansi, The man from Ireland. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Keith. Of course, the indomitable, ever present. The GOAT of Dutch Eagle. The Dutch Eagle himself. Peace out, everyone. Let's go, Beşiktaş. We're in a tunnel, but we'll get out of it. We'll see the sun again someday. We hope. Peace out.